Hi everyone. I don't know if you guys can see me. Um I don't know. I've been trying to go live and my internet is like not working. So if you can see me, press 1. If you can hear me, press 1. I actually don't know if you can hear me or see me. Is the mic working? Drop a 1 if the mic is working. All right, there's a 1. The mic, are we good with the mic? All right, I'm gonna assume we're good with the mic. Um, all right, cool. If we lose connection or anything, please note that um I'm trying. I'm trying. However, I got a comment that I'm gonna block this person because if you can't secure your mental health for yourself, I, the generous king, Kang with the ANG, will do it for you. Um, and under my Beyonce video, literally like 5 minutes ago, this person, it popped up. I hate when YouTube do this. Like, I won't get any updates on like people commenting, but um I'll randomly get these like bizarre comments where it's like weird. So under my Beyonce video, someone wrote, "We get it. Period. You're smart. Eye roll." And first of all, yes, I would like to think that I'm smart. It's the maybe the one thing about me that I really, 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 really adore about myself. And pretend, I don't pretend to not be smart. If people have to pretend to not be smart to be sort of relatable with you, that's not me. Mm-mm, mm-mm. It's not. It's not here. My perceived or real intelligence, as as it were, is something that I take pride in. Like I don't feel sorry for it. So if you feel some kind of way about how I put that video together, you're going to be real mad when you realize all the videos that I create from now on will probably look exactly the same way. So that's that on that. I did have my outline in a teleprompter, and a lot of it was reading from my own outline that I created, but it is it is what it is. Like, I saw the comment and I rolled my eyes too, because it's like, no one is telling you not to go and like get educated. Sorry. Sorry, that's a little messy. Sorry. I'm pouring myself a drink. Anyway, how is everyone doing? I have something that I want y'all to for my Christian girl is, before we start this conversation, um for my Christian girl is, I have a question. I have a question, and I think you all have the answer. So let me play this. Oh, they removed it. Ah, sly, sly. They're not letting me play it. I'll ask. I'll go ahead and ask. There was this podcast online, and you all tell me what you think in the chat. And they were asking whether or not um, Christians should go to gay weddings. When I open the panel later on, please come forward so we can discuss whether or not Christians. Please come up later so we can discuss. And if I forget, if I forget the question, let me know. Because I'm very curious about this. Sorry, also don't feel well. I've been working nonstop. I have 2 videos coming. Um, we're gonna do Love is Blind recap today, but I will not be speaking on Ramsey Ramses or whatever his name is, disgusting degenerate. I won't be speaking on him in any depth today because I have a video. I'm finishing the outline today. Well, tonight if I get done in time. And I'm planning to do the recordings and hopefully I'll have it out early next week. I'm also reviewing Megan the Stallion's documentary, and I want to do a write up, but that might be late this week. So I'm working on them simultaneously. I'm working on the like outline for both of them simultaneously, and it's a lot harder than I thought because I go back and forth. In any case, y'all are not here for that. Let's get into the mess. Um, there are people in my Discord that I asked to help me with the Love is Blind breakdown. And I don't know if you all want me to do the Love is Blind review first or you want me to do it last. Right? All right. I think we're gonna do it after. Let's do the political stuff quickly because also um I want to talk about Kalina and her interview. All right, good. I'll do it last. I want to talk about Kalina and her interview. I also want to talk about Ole and Friends. They did an interview or podcast with a bunch of men, and I didn't watch it yet. I can't tell you how hard it is to not watch that because I really, really wanted to watch it. I know my Discord watched it, but I did not stay in there with them to watch it because I wanted to do a sort of first review. Um, I want to talk about Beyonce's speech at Kamala's, the VP Harris's. The rally was. All right, we'll get there. We'll get to the rally. Let's actually start with the rally. Thank you all so much for being here. I know you all are electioned out. We will get back to regular content probably not next week. With the election so close, next month, right? We just started a new month. And all right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup with something on the side. I don't know what is on the side, but something is on the side. All right, let's do it. All right. So someone said soda. I know what is on the side. I don't drink soda on the side of a chicken noodle soup. That don't make sense to me. So I just said something else on the side. Uh, no, wait. No, I knew what was. Y'all think, the fact that y'all think I don't know this song is nasty work. You don't have any faith in me. I don't think y'all have faith in me, and that's so unfortunate. Like I'm really mad that y'all really thought I needed that correction. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for looking out because I could have just pretended and looked in the comment if I didn't know. So I appreciate that, but I promise that I do know. I don't come up here and pretend. Whatever. Yeah, ginger ale. Yeah, with ginger ale on the side. All right. Hey, Sober Bobo. Hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, Mother Beyonce, and Kelly Rowland went up and did their speech. But before we get to the speech, I want to start with Young Thug. I want to start with Young Thug. So, Young Thug, after the prosecutors in Georgia completely destroyed their own case, the judge having ex parte communication, forcing witness to testify without letting the defense counsel know about it. Like, from my perspective, Young Thug should be released. It is not because he's innocent. It is not because he's innocent. or I believe him to be innocent, it is because we cannot abide a system that will try to cut corners in order to prosecute. When someone's life is on the line, you have to engage with the utmost care. So the fact that the first judge was bending corners, bending rules, having all kinds of meetings and sort of working under the table seems absolutely diabolical to me. Now, they messed up. The prosecutor and the judge messed up. And so the new judge and Young Thug apparently came to an agreement where they'll have time served for the time he's been in jail, on trial, and he will be on a sort of probation. 15 years is nasty work. 15 years. 15 years. Just lock him up for 5. Um, so, and there's, I was reading the document before I came on. 15 years of probation is just the period, about where he can go, when he can go, who he needs to check in with, what the requirements are, how easily it is for him to be shoved into prison if he sort of violate his probation. And I'm interested in sort of what justice here looks like. Because I do find it highly, hugely problematic that the prosecutor and the judge messed this up so much. It almost feels like it was planned. Like, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but it feels like the way to beat this was to make them, let me leave that alone. Because I've never seen a judge act this poorly, and a prosecutor act this poorly in such a high profile. Like, everyone is watching this case. So for it to be this messy and for the judge to operate how it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm gonna leave that there. I have thoughts, conspiracy theorists, um, and theories going off in my head. So yeah. Sober Bobo has been a member. What is that? 4 years? Do not have me do math. Don't have me do math. Not tonight. That is wild. I think you are. I need to send you like a gift or something. I think you are the longest standing member we have. And that's like just amazing. I appreciate you. 48 months is a lot, and I appreciate that. That is the longest relationship ever. That's not even true. That's not even true. Well, it is true. I think my longest yeah, that is true. Oh, Nayani is 40 months, like right behind. This is so amazing, actually. Yo, not I have multiple people who've been a member on this channel for 40 months. Multiple. That is wild. Thank you. Hugs. All right. I will figure out with the moderators how to show appreciation because I truly appreciate this. I truly appreciate that. I truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As long as the Korean political advancement is linked to conviction, it will always be corrupt and unethical. Fully agree. Fully agree. There is absolutely nothing that you just said that I disagree with. Fully, completely agree with this statement, Koja. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, we have a new member. Thank you so much. I'm trying to break this word down, but my brain is not working. All right. So let's start with Young Thug finding out that there is an agreement that he's gonna go out and be back in the world, and he's asking for leniency and all of that. So he did a quote unquote heartfelt. He gave a speech, and I want y'all to hear the speech in its entirety. I will be pausing, and we can talk, but let's hear it. Let us hear it. Da, no, 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 no. Da, no, 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 no.
responsibility for, you know, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom. My mom got 11 kids. I can't say all their names, you know, my managers, my kids that's not here. Really everybody that got something to do with this situation. I want to say sorry for just like, you know, having so much time investing into this, you know, and I am a smart guy. I am a good guy, and I really got a good heart. You know, I find myself in.
Sorry. Look, I don't know how much accountability one should take, but the idea that I am a good guy comes out when you have confessed, you've plead guilty to running a gang that was shooting, unaliving, dragging, destroying communities. It's wild to me that I'm a good. Sorry, like I've heard this so many times, but every time I hear I'm a good guy, I cringe because it's like, by whose standard? like, can you be a good person while doing all the evils in the world? Like, can you, at your core, and this is a real legitimate question, right? Can you be internally good while being externally bad? A period. Period.
A lot of stuff because I was just nice or cool, you know, and I understand that you can't be that way when you reach a certain height because it could end bad, and it don't really have to have nothing to do with you, but it could end bad and it could, you know, fall on you. And I know the choice is yours, it's up to you, and I hope that you allow me to go home today and just trust in me to just do the right thing and never see you again.
Trust in me is nasty work. Trust in me. I think you all have to remember what the. No, I'm not going to do that. I hope you all remember what this man was on trial for. And like the plea deal that exists here and the probation agreement for 15 years as opposed to going through with the prosecution and going to prison for a longer period of time. Like obviously he's getting out with a slap on the wrist. Does this mean he will change? Does this mean anything to him? Will he feel himself to be untouchable? Like I don't know where this lands him, but like the fact that this speech is going around and people are like talking about how beautiful and amazing and great it is nasty work to me. I'm sorry. I don't buy it, not even on sale. Even with return policies involved, I'm not buying it.
And unless it's at a, you know, bar in the future or something, just out of this type of situation, I promise you I won't ever be in this type of situation again. I'm going away. I've learned from my mistakes. You know, I come from nothing and I've made something and I didn't take full advantage of it. I'm sorry. Through these last 2.5 years of my life, you are really, truly, honestly, the best thing that has happened to me because you made everything fair for me and everybody involved on both sides. You know, I'm sorry to the sheriff, you know, everybody for just having to put extra time in. I know y'all got paid more money, but I'm sorry for y'all having to put this extra time in to be away from y'all family, you know, and I just hope that you find it in your heart to allow me to go home and be with my family and just do better as a person. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I am. I know the heights I've reached. I know the impact I got on people, period, in the community, you know, all people. I learned that late, like these past 2 or 3 years of my life, I kind of learned that late. And maybe it was because I was, you know, probably on drugs.
You want to know something? I went to the shade room comments and everyone is celebrating, talking about free my this, free my that. And it's like, but like, y'all keep saying free. It's like people were saying free vibes cartel. And like, it's weird when I hear people do that for people who actually were like criminals. You know what I mean? Like when they lock up MLK, right? Like I understand fighting for his freedom. But like when the person is an actual criminal, it's weird. I don't get the impulse to celebrate. Now this man is confessing that he's on drugs and using drugs. This is the same person, mind you, that one of his colleagues got locked up because they were trying to pass him drugs while in the court. They were in the courtroom passing around drugs. Someone snuck drugs in the courtroom to give to him. I don't feel like we're in. I feel like we're in like the upside down world because this don't make no kind of sense to me. And so, on a procedural, like from a procedural matter, I think he should be free based on all the crap that they've done in the case. The previous judge, it should be a mistrial. Let me be very clear. That is my opinion on it. That is not even a legal opinion. It's like we cannot tolerate the system with the power that it has cutting corners and engaging in the sort of underhanded means to prosecution that we see all around the world. Like we cannot abide that. Like that cannot be okay, right? However, it don't mean he innocent. So the fact that they got him to plea as opposed to having sort of mistrial, like fine, whatever, good, whatever. But the fact that y'all out here celebrating is wild.
drugs or anything, I don't know. But I have came to my senses and I understand what I mean to this world. But I am a good guy, you know. I don't mind doing stuff like, you know, like free shows, and I always did that. You know, I did free shows and gave it to single parents, millions of dollars. You know, I made $1.8 million on a free show, and I gave it all to single parent charity. And I did like 2 or 3 shows that made like $700,000 a piece, and I gave it to the breast cancer organization. Like, you know, I do things. Like I put millions of dollars back into my community for real.
So I know, tomato, tomato, tomato. I want to believe him so badly. I would absolutely adore if he actually comes back out into the world and become a force for good. do I think that's gonna happen? No. When you're trying to convince a court that YSL, based on your sort of acronym makeup in a gang means young servant of the Lord, I don't trust nothing you gotta say. The fact that the white man right beside him here, his attorney, right, stood up there in front of the court and us, all of us, and told us that YSL meant young servant of the Lord. Was it on? Yeah, it was of the. I think it said young servant of the Lord. No, I'm not going to believe nothing you say. I'm sorry. Nothing. Nothing you got to say I'm going to believe. I'm going to just sit here and eat my food and watch for you to get locked up again, because I'm not about to. Young servant of who now? You tried it.
I really did. I did more than anybody ever did from my side, you know. But I understand, you know, rap lyrics. I understand how it could be twisted. I understand what it could do to the mind of people. I understand all that, and I promise you, I'm 100% changing that. You know, it's just I'm older, I'm grown now, you know, and it's just like
he got me. So the way his voice cracks, you can tell that he is like desperate, and like I don't like seeing people that desperate like this. So like I hope we're gonna continue watching it, but like please don't throw any tomatoes. But like I hope he did change. I hope this taught him something good. I hope that like he does use his influence and power when he gets out for good. No, don't. You want to know something? I forgot about the unaliving. I I forgot. I heard this man's voice crack and I forgot about the unaliving. Y'all are right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just a weak. I think I'm weak. I think pray for me. I'm weak. I am weak.
I'm smarter. It's more things to rap about. Like I've experienced a lot of good things. I experienced more bad things, but I experienced a lot of good things too. And anyway, I can go forever.
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you do realize how much of an impact you have on people. I mean, it's past your neighborhood. It's worldwide, especially young people. And having come up from where you came up from and living in and around that, you know that gangs are damaging to our community. And it may be that a whole lot of rap music and the rap industry is, I mean, honestly, it sounds like a modern day version of kind of WWE wrestling that used to be on television, where people would just get up and posture and act like they hated each other. And it may be that that's a lot of what is going on in the music industry with rap. But whether it is fake or not, it has tremendous impact on kids and young people who think, this is cool. This is what I want to do. Look at him. He's a millionaire. I can do that by being, a gangster in the streets. And that's not true. What you're likely to have happen to you if you're a gangster in the streets is you get shot, you get killed, or you get thrown in prison. And those are, by far.
It looked like the judge forgot that people were unalive. It looked like I am not the one. She's calling posturing, so and pretending, and the music and the lyrics. It looked like the judge. It looked like the judge forgot that people were being unalive too. Jesus be a memory. I too, because I'm listening to him and his voice cracked, and I was like, when you see like this big man, I don't know how big he is. He seemed like a big, like, fee-fi full-farm kind of guy. And then to hear them beg and their voice crack, you forgot that they're killers. Because why the judge and I are sitting here feeling sorry for this man, completely forgetting that people have been unalived. Like they're putting out hits. Putting out hits. Wait, wait, y'all can't drag me for this. Please don't drag me for this. Is it putting out hits or putting hits on someone? I think it's putting hits on. They're putting hits on that. Wait, I put in hits on. I think it's putting hit on a. I don't care. Both. All right. All right. Actually, now my mind is jumbled, searching for the correct phrase. I think that it is wild that we are looking at this man and completely forgot that he's out here unaliving people and putting hits out on. It is what it is. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let that sentence go.
The most likely outcomes. And, you've been in here watching the trial, and you've seen the pictures of Mr. Ryan posing with a gun as big as he is at 15 years old and going out and shooting and killing another teenager. And that's what gangs do. And that's unfortunately a lot of what rap music does. And if you are a modern day John Lennon, he might have rapped too in this day and age. I don't know. But
the judge out there condemning rap is nasty work. This judge, I don't disagree with the judge's assessment on rap music. The rap music is a rap at this point, but it's giving not very great. She said, y'all degenerate in rap music just causing a bunch of problems in y'all's community. That's what she said. I'm tired of this. No, let me stop.
I know you're talented, and even if you choose to continue to rap, you need to try to use your influence to let kids know that that is not the way to go, and that there are ways out of poverty besides hooking up with the powerful guy.
Right, right. Like, girl, nobody asked you all that. No one asked you.
At the end of the street selling drugs. And, I know that happens for protection sometimes, but a much better way would be getting an education and setting, hanging around with people who set a good example. And you be one of those people that sets a good example. All right, so that's my high horse on that. I could also go on, but I want you to try to be more of the solution and less of the problem. All right. All right. So it is not lost on the court that the state, had they been able to come to agreement on certain special conditions, was willing to entirely dismiss the RICO count, was willing to entirely dismiss one of the gang counts, and was willing to entirely dismiss this, machine gun count, was willing to give a sentence that permitted Mr. Williams to walk out of the door today, and therefore does not seem to be particularly worried that Mr. Williams, if on the streets, would be a danger to society. I'm taking that into consideration in crafting my sentence. And in permitting a nolo plea to the RICO count and one of the two gang counts, I would not be permitting the nolo to the one if you were not pleading guilty to at least one of them.
Let me just say, the fact that this man sitting up here actually about to walk out after being charged with a RICO case is not, like, this is like kind of unheard of. This is kind of unheard of. This is wild. Look at him go.
But you are, and y'all admit a factual basis for the counts that you are pleading guilty to. I find there to be a factual basis for those counts, and for the remaining counts with which you are charged. I am going to impose a sentence, and I've taken a little bit of the suggested special conditions from the defense and a little bit of the special conditions suggested by the prosecution. On count one, the court sentence is 20 years to serve 5.
In any case, I don't want to go to the next one. Ultimately, that up to 15 years, because they I don't even know, because he was only in jail for 2 years. So to pretend like that is 5 is weird. Actually didn't go into the calculation for the sentencing and like any discussion on the sentencing, and I think I should actually look at that, because he only has to be on probation for 15 as opposed to 20. So that's that on that. That is that on that. Look at privilege. Look at privilege. In any case, a lot of the work being done in the political campaign is to get Black men to vote. And not only to get Black men to vote, but get Black men to vote Democrat. And Republicans don't really care to get Black men to vote Republican. They just try to get Black men not to vote or continue to not vote. And I think this is interesting from different fronts. I've attempted multiple times to have panels on the election so that we can talk about the election, so that I can hear men's voices. I have been unimpressed. And I've been looking at panels of men from the barbershop begging begging the man running for president to do away with child support, to men just not talking about anything, just saying they want to be heard, men talking about being lonely, all of that. So, having gone to Ole and Friends and having watched a bunch of Ole's video, one popped up that I did not watch in its entirety, and we're about to watch it now, where men are going to be speaking. I have no clue if this is good. I'm going to assume this is good. If I am bored, we're going to move on because we have a lot to go over today. But if I'm bored or if it's like nonsense, I'm just going to skip it because ain't nobody got time for that. So let's go to Ole and Friends. They have a man's panel, and we're going to engage with their man's panel.
See, and no one ever says anything. That's why.
Hey, hey,
I thought you were talking to those people watching.
Yeah, we don't. Okay, oh,
A period, Adrian, 32 months. You better inch up there too. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah.
You're right.
I don't get called beautiful a lot, so I didn't know.
No,
What to say.
I thought you were talking to the beautiful black people watching for some reason. It's like, oh, beautiful black people, that can't mean us. That's some other people. Those other beautiful black people.
No, it's
Yeah, man.
literally all. Okay, so I brought y'all here to have, I think, hopefully, one of my last conversations for this exhausting ass election season.
Exhausting.
Exhausting. I want this to end so bad. And next election season, I'm not going to acknowledge an election season at all. No one is getting me to even acknowledge it's happening. I don't care what. I'm not in it. I want no parts. But I brought y'all here because I did a video recently talking about Obama's comments about him feeling like some black men who are like reluctant to vote for Kamala are doing it because sexism, and that got a lot of discourse. And
let me first of all, I'm going to always be pausing this. Second of all, I am mad that so many people are still upset about Obama's comment. These men are sexist and misogynistic, and that's why a lot of them don't want to vote for women. I don't know why anyone is going back and forth on that. Obama already came out and told y'all that he said what he said. He's not taking it back. He's standing 10 toes down, and I'm standing 10 toes behind him, period. He said what he said. So if this veers off into that conversation, I'm just going to move on. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear men whine and cry that Obama shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done it. He did what he did. He said what he said, and he was truthful. He was being honest. Now what? I don't want to hear it. Please don't let this be the conversation.
tried to tackle that as nuanced as I thought. And honestly, I feel like the comments disappointed me more. Like, it was funny because I felt like I explained, like, I understand I'm sensitive. I understand why people are sensitive to Obama saying that, because there is a real reality of black men being like scapegoated and painted like this really regressive group that doesn't like vote progressively, when in fact, like,
scapegoated. I don't think black men are being scapegoated at all. I don't like the word scapegoat. I get to what you're meaning. So I'm gonna let it slide.
Black men, majority, like right underneath black women are the, like, by a lot vote for Democrats and stuff more than anybody else, right? So like, I wanted to speak to that as a real thing, and I get that. But on the flip side of that, I'm like, it's not untrue. I think it is really unrealistic for people to act like it's untrue that there are black men and men in general. Yes, there are tons of men there. I'm sure it's.
Wait, wouldn't your explanation now do away with the assertion that it is a scapegoat? You just explained why it's not a scapegoat. Oh my God. We're in for a rough one. Wait, let me. I feel like I should go get an Advil. I feel like I should go get an Advil. I feel like I should go get an Advil because I feel like, so my assessment of Olay, outside of my thought that she's actually really smart, and I do like her a lot. Let me just put that out there. I do like her. I think that she's trying to hold space, right? A hope, maybe. And it's conflicting with the ideas being put forward. It seems conflicting to say it's a scapegoat, but then go and confirm that it exists, and therefore it is an accurate assessment. How is it a scapegoat? It is what it is. Let's go. No. Wait, let me be clear. Please do not disrespect this woman. Do not do that. Here is why I think it is important that when we have these conversations, we are able to engage respectfully. I don't think we should close lines of communication with other people that we disagree with. And I don't think I disagree, based on watching a lot of her content, I don't think I disagree with her assessment of systems. I disagree with her individual assessment and using system to justify individual behavior all the time. So let me be very clear and upfront. I've watched too many of her videos to think that I disagree. Like, I mostly agree with her. Like, mostly agree with her. Agree with her conclusions. It's like Kimberly Nicole Foster, even though I agree with Kim more. I agree with the assessment. I agree with the work. I agree with the analysis. The conclusion and what it's predicated on is not, it's not for me. But I do like her, and I like listening to smart people talk. Unlike that commenter under my video. The same black men who say they aren't misogynistic for not voting for Harris will say black men who vote for Harris are simps and weak men. Yeah. Period, Orange Pill. Come through. Come through. There's a good observation. I appreciate you adding it to the conversation. Very well done, sir. Very well done.
Worse in the other racial demographics by far, for sure. But we're black people. And in the case of this election, like Obama, Kamala needs overwhelming black support, because Obama, I think we forget, like Obama never won the white vote. None of the Democrats won the white vote, even the white candidates, right? Like how Obama won was because of record black turnout. So it's not just that we know black people that vote, majority vote Democrat, but it's about the turnout. So it made sense why Obama is speaking to that. Cause I think he's not just, people took it as like this overall indictment of black men and black men who aren't voting and black men with reasons why they're not against the Democratic Party. But it seemed very clear to me that he was speaking specifically to black men who he feels otherwise would support whoever the Democratic candidate is, but are now looking for a reason to not support Kamala. And I thought like that was as nuanced as I could do it. And the comments I got.
All right. I think I already know who I'm going to disagree with. I'm going to call it, don't ask me why. Do not ask me why. I know none of these men. Let me be very clear. I know zero of these men. I don't know their content, don't know if they make content, know nothing about them. All right, let me tell you. So this one with the glasses here, based on his reaction to her statements, I'm pretty sure I'm going to disagree with. We're going to do this. Let me go through. Right here with the glasses, right beside her in the brown hat, I'm pretty sure I disagree with him. Don't know this man, don't know what he's going to say. His reaction to the statement, top middle, I'm pretty sure I'm going to disagree with him. This one with the headphones on top, I think from your perspective is on the left. Wild card. I'm not even going to try. I think I've seen this one in the red do-rag online before. Don't remember what he said. The way he's shaking his head, I'm thinking yes. I'm going to agree with him. And then the other two at the bottom, I don't know. I can't make anything.
I got a lot of comments and a lot of feedback. And honestly, it was interesting because the black men in my comments that were giving feedback, granted, I'm sure there are people who are bots and whatever, but insofar as I could see, they were very mad about Obama's comments while also saying things that solidified Obama's comments. Like, I was like, by the time I read their comments, I felt like I actually gave too much praise, because I was like, not for nothing. I can see the amount of black men that are all over our social medias, all over interviews, like black men of note, saying these crazy sexist things and all these different things. But I recognize that they're also overrepresented. They're given more attention. They're given more light, because that's the black man that they want to show us.
This is weird. She knows what is happening. It is so weird to watch. She knows what is happening, but she can't admit it. So she makes it the loud minority without any proof, mind you, without any proof that this is the loud minority and majority of black men do not think this way. She just says it. And part of me hopes that she is right and my assessment is wrong. Like, I actually kind of hope that the noise online is not representative of the reality, but then you look at the single motherhood rate, absent father rate, unaliving rate, you look at the community generally, and it just statistically, if most men are good in the community wouldn't look how it looks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just like, I mean, like, I want her to be right so badly, but it's just like, I feel like I would have to delude myself to agree. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to agree with her, but I understand what she's doing, and I understand the cognitive dissonance right now for her and why she thinks this is scapegoating. I get it. I get it. Ole, I get it. I still think it's wrong, but I get it.
That. And so I was like, I'm not going to acknowledge that in this. I'm going to, give the grace of the argument. But the way they are in my comments, I understand being frustrated with the Democratic Party. I fully get that. But I don't understand. I really don't, on a practical level, don't understand how you have this amount of rage for a Democrat. Because it's not just it's not just, I'm not talking about the people who are like, oh, I hate the Democrat. They're all the same. I don't want to participate in both parties. I'm talking about the people who specifically, and you could see them, the shade room blacks. They're like, the Democrats ain't do shit for me. But they're praising the Republicans. And I cannot, for the love of God, understand what lens you look at, or you look at the state of black people and you come to the conclusion that the Democrats are the devil, but the Republicans are good or doing something for you. And so I don't know. I say all that to say, I don't know how the I feel anymore. I'm putting it to the room.
I see why you think she's pandering. She's talking outside of both sides. She wants to critique the issue, and to do that without being canceled. I don't know if she's worried about that, but it feels like to do the critique that she needs to do, she has to limit it. She has to go out of her way to make sure that it's limited, and it's not that Black men, we don't feel like she's talking about all. The shade room blacks is nasty work, though. She said the shade room blacks. I mean, I probably am the shade room black because I'd be up in them comments fighting with people in the shade room. But I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I'm one of those people in the shade room that I'm not going back and forth with you. I said what I said, and you're going to fight with yourself. And if you're fighting with me and I see you writing paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, and then you stop, I might go back in to say, I don't fully agree, so that you can continue to go. Please note that if you're fighting with me in the shade room, I have no emotional investment in anything that you're saying. I actually don't really care. I just want to see how much you're going to write. That is it. I'm not reading none of that. I'm not doing none of that. I am literally only going to come back in there to say, I think you're wrong and I don't agree, and see if you're going to just continue to give me paragraphs. And I only do that after you stop messaging. No, I don't know why you would take time out of your day to write paragraphs on my opinion.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard for people to hold two maybe almost contradictory things in their head at the same time. And I think it's also just, we're reaching a boiling point. We're reaching a situation where things are becoming untenable for a lot of people. So that's where that's where contrarianism thrives, right? If the Democratic Party hasn't been working us for so long, then we're going to have to find some other way. And in that scramble, people start looking in all the wrong places.
All right. I'm glad everyone else paused because that silence told you. That silence told you everything you need to know. Next topic. What someone try to come in and pretend like they knew what just happened?
Yeah, I think too. No, go ahead, bro.
Okay, real quick, I was piggybacking off.
No one. Period.
Of Nicholas, and I think part of his point was particularly salient to me, and I think it's just the idea that we've been had for so long. I think it's Democrats have been the default vote for Black people, specifically Black men, for a very, very long time. And I think when you get the veil lifted off your eyes and it's oh, I've been scammed this whole time, it can create some bitterness. And I think that bitterness is causing us to intentionally want to capture that contrarian energy, but also just literally purposely go to the party that's going to hurt the Democrats the most. That's what I've seen in my comment section, right? People that are not only the Democrats, but the Democrats, but we're going to do everything we can to now own the libs and smash the leftists. And it's they've joined the opposition party just to hurt the Democrat cause the most.
And I think that's the part that's confusing.
No. Let him finish. That was actually That's actually a really good insight, I think. I don't think it's a really logical one. I agree. I, hmm. I don't know that I agree that people feel slighted, Black men feel slighted by the Democratic Party, and therefore they are saying F the Democrats. And in reaction, an emotional reaction to not being helped by the Democrat, they are now voting Republican, which is definitely against interests. I don't think that's it. I think my assessment, let me be very careful. I appreciate how thoughtful that response was. I have to say that first. This is one of the most thoughtful response on any of these panels that I've ever seen. Let me just be very clear about that. So a guy with glasses, headphone, respect, whatever. However, I probably shouldn't have said that because I don't know what's going to happen next. Anywho, appreciate that. My assessment is that I think a lot of men feel like women are gaining too much power, and the Democratic Party, at least outwardly, is in favor of women gaining power, where the Republican Party isn't. And I think men can attach to the Republican Party and see themselves represented in men. And it is almost like the gender war has found its way at the highest level of politics. And so men are seeing themselves in Trump and women are seeing themselves in Harris. So for me, that's how I say it, but that's also simplistic. So I can appreciate his analysis. I appreciate his analysis. I've thought about it before. I don't agree with it, but I appreciate it.
Thing.
Yeah, that's spite. That's just pure spite.
Because I'm just like, who are you spiting? I get spite. I just don't understand how they've come to the conclusion that they're spiting anybody but themselves. Like, I'm like, you can't hurt power. You're not going to hurt the Democrats. You're not going to. First of all, I think we've shown, we did 2016. We've demonstrated.
No, it's not about hurting necessarily. Maybe it is, but it's more about, his assessment is more about when you really look at politics and realize that the party you have been serving, right, voting, is not actually in favor of Blackness and you as a Black man, but people generally, you tend to have an emotional, visceral reaction against the party and kind of to stick it to them or even to find another way out. You just figure someone else to vote for. I don't think it's as thoughtful, honestly, as the guy with the glasses was just explaining. But I think Ole is missing this point, though. I think
That we're not going to like, upset the Democrats, fight the Democrats, cost the Democrats an election into becoming radically different or being the ones who suffer. That's just not how it works. So I think that's what confuses me, but I'm not going to talk no more other than the only thing I'm going to throw out that I guess I want us to think about, because I keep seeing a lot of people.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. She's also right. Like, you doing that, voting for someone else to spite the Democrat doesn't work. You're only hurting yourself. She's absolutely right. But I don't think there is any analysis being done about the outcome of your vote. They just want to vote to spite. So
people be like, Black people like pointing out to me, like, what your analysis is missing is that Black men have been like losing support, have been, dropping off from the Democratic Party steadily since the 2000s. And I'm like, yeah, but they're saying that, and I don't know if this is a thing I don't know if I agree with. They're saying it as though it's a reflection of proof that the Democrats don't do anything for us or whatever. And I'm like, I think it's a reflection of maybe some like larger dissatisfaction. I also think they're like more voter disenfranchisement things that happen to Black men to like depress the Black male vote. But I was like, in the same period of time, Black women support for the Democrats has remained steadily high, and Black women have been doing way better throughout the 2000s, like not just than Black men. I don't mean that, like in society, like Black women are now the most educated, doing the most businesses. So I'm wondering, what is the Democratic Party, what are Black men seeing that, the scales dropping from their eyes, that they're deciding that the Democrats are doing to them, that they're somehow not also doing to Black women? How are Black women being so successful in the same period of time? So I guess that's all I've been thinking.
I think, and I'm gonna speak to like some of the stuff I've heard from friends, people I've known for a long time, stuff my barber says to me when they ask questions about this stuff. And I think there's an overall frustration with the system, lack of appreciation. And I think you can like combine that also.
Appreciation for what? Appreciate. Ole just really summarized and gave what needed to be gave. She ate that down, and that is true, right? It's not a Black men specific problem. However, what Ole just expressed is that Black women are doing better. Women are doing better. The issue is men, and specifically Black men, aren't faring that well in this new economy. This is more than a political discussion. This is a philosophical question. It is an education academic question. It is a psychological question. It is a very gendered question about sort of how men can and should show up in this new world. And men are fighting, not just to redefine or stay in tune with manhood in isolation. No, they're fighting to oppress women. Men are fighting for traditionalism, not because they care about the traditional man, and some of them do. They want to live up to some weird masculinity framework that destroys them. But they need to oppress women for that to exist. Women need to be in their place, which is under men in a lot of these men's mind. And that summarizes the fight that exists. Men aren't trying to thrive, to do well in this community. They're not trying to do well for themselves politically. They are fighting and voting for Trump because they believe Trump embodies the masculine ideal that will press reset on all this feminist foolishness in their mind. Jaren had a question, and let me engage. Black voters are the only demographic in America completely behind a party. Why? Every other group recognizes politics as transactional. Because the KKK and neo-Nazis are behind and leading the Republican Party. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to judge. You want to know what's so funny when people say, oh my God, there was no switch in the party and the party of Lincoln and blah, blah, blah. Tell me where the people who would have been the KKK members, and not even wouldn't, registered KKK member and Theo Bros and white supremacists are, I'm not saying, mind you, that they're not also on the Democrat side. They're just not as overt. So it's very difficult for Black people to be in a party where the leaders of the party see them as subhuman. That could be an answer. But as we've been discussing, Black men have been trickling out of the party. So you might get your wish, Jaren. You might get more Black men over there voting with you. Apologies, actually. I don't know how you vote.
Also too with a full like a complete lack of understanding of how this political system actually works too, because I think as a whole I don't think Black men feel appreciated. I don't think it's a democratic thing. I just think in society, and then when we look at the party that we're supposed to be aligned to, like we're big on like loyalty, respect. So it was like, I'm giving you this, but what are you tangibly giving? Like we know that we're getting things, but because it's not postmarked as like Black, there are some people who don't see it. But there are certain things that are going to benefit us, like healthcare, for example, and forgiving student loans, for example. And I'm very frustrated with, I don't beat both parties, you know what I'm saying? But we can't act like there's not one that's better in terms of what they do domestically. You know what I'm saying? So I think I could kind of boil this down to, so the DNC was in my city. I'm in the Chicago area. And
Okay, sure. I don't know what to tell this man.
I went to a session to learn, and it was a session about reaching Black men. And I kind of wanted to see and just kind of hear what they were going to say, because I went in there thinking, okay, they're going to act like they know how to reach us. But they actually had a brother there who was a mayor from a small town in North Carolina who was talking from the perspective of Democrats don't listen, and this is what they need to be understanding. And his main talking point was, we don't have a lot of like trusted messengers who communicate these things to us, and we're often we feel disrespected by the way we're communicating things. For example, they'll bring out, celebrity endorsements, or they'll have your favorite rapper talking about why you should do this, or and this ain't even really just for us. Like even the white community, they brought out Eminem for y'all, you know what I'm saying? And the Insane Clown Posse, I think, was endorsing Kamala too. But like I think that's an American thing, but we feel it more because it's either celebrities or nothing for us. And his point was, we want to hear from people we're close to about why this is important or why we should vote. But as a society, do we ever really have those conversations? Think about that. Like, where do we even learn about politics? It ain't in school, really. We learn it. We passing the test. I'm just trying to get this A, B, whatever I got to get. And then it's media, friends. And now.
Sure. Okay. Like next. Actually, yeah, next. I mean,
what we didn't have when we were growing up was the polarization of social media. Now that frustration is expressed, but not just is expressed. There are content creators who will feed off that and keep feeding you more of that angle while they profiting and while you suffering. The answer is not to go to the far right. To me, the answer is until we get a better system, we got to keep organizing over here.
Right.
I think that's a good point that we don't have a lot of.
You know
I think there's a certain level of like political incoherence that exists, and that goes back to the education. I don't know if people understand the difference between different political ideologies. I don't think that they necessarily fully understand how the government works at the different levels, whether that's local or federal, whatever the case may be. And I also think people want to be, even though they hate this, they want to be pandered to. And I've been having conversations about this, and they're just like, I don't want to be pandered to. Yeah, what you're saying to me, yeah, you do want to be pandered to. You want to be specifically pandered to. And then if you don't get specifically pandered to in the way that you want to, then you're mad. Like, it's really confusing. I think that's one of the biggest things, right? When Kamala came out with her plan, a lot of people were sharing like the little small snippets, but actually it's like a 9-page plan with all these different things, right? And then I saw people say, you know, like, oh, I don't even smoke weed. Why is this targeted towards Black people? And I'm like, wait. Okay, so what exactly do you want? Because we know what the implications are of Black men and weed and incarceration, right? And mass incarceration, all that stuff. And it's just like, I'm confused to why you're even saying that, because this is an attempt. And then this other person on the other side of the aisle, Trump and all those people, are not even remotely interested in those types of things. And going back to what Obama said, I understood what Obama was saying, but I also understood how people got all mad because there is this trend or the situation where everybody seems to be aiming at Black men. And I feel like a lot of Black men feel targeted and unwanted and all these different things. And it might even, well, I think it absolutely is related to that whole loneliness that's going on with men in general. And then they turn to the alt-right pipeline and stuff like that. And the things I hear from my own friends,
I don't even know where to pick up or where to drop off, because it's like kind of, it's not incoherent, it's just like kind of meaningless. Like they're all kind of agreeing and restating the exact same thing, which, fine, whatever. This is a problem I have with Ole and Friends, by the way. I don't think you need tension necessarily. I think people can agree, but I think there should be some level of disruption insofar as disagreement. And I'm not saying this is an echo chamber of any sort. It just feels very sanitized, and there is no real engagement or like intellectual struggle happening, because they don't really have to think. They can just talk and the other person will just agree and repeat, kind of thing. But on the male loneliness thing, men are lonely, that's fine, whatever. It is weird, though, that the conversation about male loneliness isn't about finding friends. Like, just go find friends, treat women like human beings, and like go out with women and enjoy other people company without wanting intimacy in a very specific way from them. And your world opens up beautifully for friendship and curing that loneliness, foolishness that you're going through. I don't have the kind of sympathy for the loneliness epidemic that exists apparently among men, because if you are lonely, you can find friends. If you can't find friends, join a sports team. If you don't like sports, join an impromptu foolishness stand-up comedy club somewhere around your neighborhood. Or actually just find like other men to be friends with. Find women that you don't want to sleep with to be around and be friends with. You can do that. And if you are not willing to do that, I don't care about your loneliness. I think loneliness in the way that it's being conceptualized now around manhood feels like women are expected to do a lot of emotional and physical labor to guarantee that men no longer feel lonely. That feels like a problem. Like the male loneliness is a male problem. You're not going to be that lonely if you find friends. That's weird. So I'm in agreement with this guy. Just I don't fully know what they're talking about, really. Like my brain is kind of like slowly like, all right, go next.
Associates and stuff like that. Some of the most right-wing things I've never heard of. I don't know what they're looking at. I'm confused. And I'm like, man, I've been knowing you for a long time. What are you talking about? You know? And I think these are interesting conversations we need to have. We need to have better examples or redirect our community to people that are going to actually help us and not like do what a lot of people are doing. I think a lot of people are very vibey, right? They like Trump's vibe. I know that's not, I know. They like.
Right. You're saying these men are voting for Trump because they like Trump's vibe. Mind you, this is the most accurate description of what is happening with men and Trump. I believe this so fundamentally. I believe that these men are voting on vibe. Now that you have said that, how you going to sit there and say men are being scapegoated, black men are being scapegoated when they're being called out, when y'all are agreeing that they're voting based on vibe? Shouldn't they be called out for that? Like, like I've also had to do a lot of renegotiating with my friendships when I'm finding out, oh, this person is saying they might vote for Trump, then we might not be friends, right? Like, because it's like I recently found out someone that I know voted for Trump. And when I asked them why, they said, oh, economy. And oh, I just want it all to burn. None of this is good. So they can't actually engage with their why. And that's very frustrating to me. And so, like, obviously, we're not that close. It's like, absolutely not. And so it is interesting to hear someone say, oh, they're voting based on vibe. Like, what am I going to do with that? Like, I can't. When you don't care about an entire group of people, and you're talking about economy, and then I press you on the economy and you can't give me anything tangible. You can express anything. You're like, oh, he's gonna do this. Why didn't he do it when he was in office? Right? Like it doesn't. I don't know. It's getting really tough out here. And it's sad. Like, even for me, I'm talking to women online. You all see a lot of this, who are advocating that they're voting for Trump. And there's a part of me that wants them to have the world that they're voting for, just to let them see what they wanted. Is this really what you want? But I know too many people will be harmed in that, and that's why I keep going. But sometimes I'm just like, all right, girl. Period.
Like Trump's vibe.
You're not crazy.
It doesn't sound crazy. It does not sound crazy. Like, you're not crazy. Like I did a video recently where I was breaking down my criticisms for every candidate, right? Trump, Kamala, even the Libertarian, which is Chase is crazy. I don't know if y'all looked at him. And even the socialist candidates, Claudia and Karina in New York, and just seeing the varied landscape there. For one, until I made that video, I had never even looked into anybody who wasn't a Democrat or Republican. So start there. I think you're right to question the level of education across the landscape. Most of us don't know what the hell is going on beyond the snippets we get on social media, period. We don't even watch me.
Who is this man? Who is this? Who is this? I like this guy. Whoever he's a very thoughtful, someone said I don't like him. Oh, I like him. Well, I don't know him, but he's very thoughtful. Like, even if you disagree with him, he's like doing analysis. He's not just talking to talk. And I like that. I like that a lot.
mainstream TV.
I got a question for
So
you guys.
the education is absolutely not there. What's up?
So when it comes to Obama, is he our, like, we don't have a lot of public figures that represent black men as a whole anymore. He can really speak to us where we're at. Is Obama the guy? Is Obama our, is he our representative? Does he represent black?
Yep. I knew I wasn't going to like this one in the middle at the top. I knew I wasn't going to like this one in the middle at the top. Why are you asking that? Why are you asking that? I don't like that it has become commonplace for people to disrespect Obama, to put his name out there just for them to drag him and say he wasn't that great, he's a war criminal. To be fair, to the extent that you say he's a war criminal, you are saying every president in American history is a war criminal. Just know that, right? I don't like the ease with which we disparage him. That's the first thing. The second thing is, why are you throwing it out to some of the most progressive people? I'm assuming they are because they're friends and over there with Olay. So I'm assuming they're super progressive. They don't like Obama generally, right? So you're putting him out there to drag, like, why? No one cares. Obama don't speak for every black man. Obama speak for the educated black. No. No. Call it elitist, call it whatever you want to call it. You put him out there to be dragged. So no, he don't speak for you. I just hate this. I hate this. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you asking that question?
Men in the United States of America. And then I have a follow-up question about that. But is he the guy? Does he represent us?
Not for me. I think a certain like generation, maybe. I admire what he accomplished. I admire a lot of what he did, of course, like actually prior to being elected too. I mean, like, and I'll take it personal, I'll admit, because his pastor was my father's childhood pastor. I didn't like the way that was handled. So I'm always gonna have kind of like a type feeling about how he did Jeremiah right. But I watched the speech yesterday. I'm always inspired, but I also always differentiate between him like citing, Al Green lyrics and Eminem lyrics versus what he actually represents as the American empire. I keep people where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Obama has done just as much harm as most of the presidents you can name, and I think we need to. I think it's tough for us because he's the first, right? Like he was the first one to punch through. He was the first one with the combination of education and polish and ability to speak that dynamically and ability to inspire us that allowed him to win the presidency. We've never seen anything like it, and so we're leaning toward all the time, like giving him the credit he deserves and giving him the props. But at the same time, American presidents are frequently war criminals, and
they were probably giving him more.
Obama is not really an exception.
All right. Whoa, back up. The critique of Obama is that he's a war criminal. I agree that this critique is for every single president. When you inherit, right, the child that is America, you have inherited a problem child, and you've taken on a lot of its sins, right? Unless you are condemning it. And so you can't be the president while condemning the thing that you are raising, the country. Therefore, yes, he becomes a problem in the way that, what's his name, Cam James? I don't know, this person on the screen just articulated. I actually don't have a problem with his critique. I don't know who this man is. Before he's even started talking, I bring up the war criminal thing first, because I think that is a just critique. And the fact that he did it just perfect. Whoever this young man is, old, I don't know if he's younger than me, older than me, I don't know. Whoever this man is, he's eating. I appreciate thoughtfulness. I appreciate analysis that is deeper than just this superficial, Obama isn't that great, he wasn't great for black people. I like this kind of analysis and this kind of discourse. So young man, older man, you ate that.
Yeah, like you can give somebody props like a black man and admire their accomplishments, but we know too much about Obama, and at least in my case. to kind of continue to hold him up as like this paragon of virtue. Like, no, he's a politician, and he's more favorable as far as his personality and his ability to speak and inspire than a lot of other politicians. That does not exclude him from the criticism that he deserves as the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, I do think that he had that.
Look, even as much as I love Obama, I'm not going to push back against what this man said. These are critiques I also have of Obama. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I fully in agreement, sir.
Blow or whatever, for us, he maintained that aura for all 8 years. And I don't think that it started to fade until a lot of us started to look back. And, because we felt so much pride in what he had accomplished and for what it, or what we felt it represented at the time for all of us.
He was my introduction to politics in a lot of ways. It was my senior year in college when I could vote for him. We were like, I was a minor in African American studies. We were watching his speeches like as they were happening or the next day and dissecting them, and just the feeling like I had the shirts and all of that. And then I started teaching too. And then that was also my introduction to learning about drone strikes. I was like, oh, and a bunch of other stuff. And I was just like, yo, so by 2012, I voted for him, but I didn't really feel good about it, But I wondered too for this generation of folks who are coming up, who was their introduction in terms of like, because I had to do a lot of soul searching, reflecting, and also understanding the dynamics of our system of federalism. But I think that just like you said, Cam, I think he seemed like personally like a really cool dude. But we know he had a job, and I also bring back some of the criticism because I say I can't expect one person to do it all. Yeah, and that's why I land with Kamala now. It's like maturity says she's gonna be one person. He was one person. This ship has been steering this direction for this long, and it might be even dangerous for them to try to go off course a little bit. So I really struggle with how to judge a president effectively in the system.
Oh, I'm talking about. I've been thinking about. I was writing a thing literally about that last night because I'm writing a video called that I'm going to put out at the end of this month called "The 7 Deadly Sins of Black Politicians," and I've been basically writing and starting it all year. And
I do not like puffery. I do not. I don't like that man that was speaking. While I don't disagree with what he's saying, it doesn't add anything to the conversation. So I speed him up for that reason. I have nothing against him. Don't know him. Just don't feel like engaging with him. I just go and speed him up because it's not. No. Now, Ole, go ahead.
Stopping and scrapping it and starting over because I keep changing, I guess, like my frame of mind work. And like what I basically came up with is like political purgatory for like Black politicians who like they've done things that suggest that they're probably heart might be in the right place or that they align in themselves. They believe that they are working on your side and they're progressives and they're trying to navigate. They're maybe I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt that they maybe are navigating landscapes I can't see. Like I can't pretend that I know every area and every political arena the way that I might know like a New York City here. But at the same time, while I have evidence of that, I have a lot of evidence of like they're being just as doing things that I would indict another Black politician for, right? So like in my video, if I have like, oh, these are the sinners. So I had like some examples of that, like in a political purgatory I put was like the mayor of Baltimore, someone who I can see, like you can hear in his language, I can see other things that he's done that shows like a motivation, like he's trying to.
Coco, this is my problem with the critique of Obama, but saying if you would critique Obama this way, you have to critique all president this way. They would just agree, yes, all of them, and that's what being the president is. And yet you're voting for someone to be while critiquing them for having the job. By mere having the job, you have become the problem, right? So the critique feels off, but I understand it and I agree with it. But yeah, because our engagement in it means that we don't get to wash our hands of it and say, oh, this president is bad. No, we're voting for them. We're actively engaging in the imperial American project. Like, you know what I mean? Like we are engaging in it.
Help the people of Baltimore, but then on the flip side of that, there's Cop City that he's behind. But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. Baltimore is a complicated, rich history of policing what actual Black people think on the ground, what the Black voters think, because I have to keep, like, the thing I've been reckoning with is that a lot of Black people don't agree with me, like, or us, like, you know what I mean? The progressive school of thought, they don't see the same, like, being pro-policing as in being inherently anti-Black. There's a lot of Black voters, especially of the Black generation before us, that very much like those politicians we have because they believe those are who we should have. Like, not for every of these like older Black people are these like Black politicians pulling the wool over their eyes. Like, that's what they feel like the community needs. So I'm like, who am I to say? Like, I don't know what's being called on by his church leaders, the Black communities there. So that's what I've come up with, Ernest. I'm like struggling with that too. Like, political purgatory till I figure it out. Like, where, like, what I think is going on there.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult.
I mean, who can meet us where?
Shaheen, what do you think about Obama? I was curious about that.
I'll be honest. I think this whole thing is like so complicated and so multifaceted that Obama is just a single representation of part of how people feel. I don't look at any personally. I don't look at any politicians as idols because I believe that is a foolish thing to do. Considering how they make their money, I can't trust it. But I think like the overarching problem, and I heard it echoed a few times, is around education. Like there has been a lot of misinformation and disinformation spread intentionally targeting like the Black male demographic. I actually was in Milwaukee a few weeks ago doing some stuff around activating voting. And I found out that the Trump campaign is doing targeted ads towards Black men in Atlanta, for example, sending out like flyers and things like that, trying to get people to feel swayed to vote towards the right. And I say that to say that a lot of people don't have the education around like what is and what isn't truth. And I think like while we on this panel, it seems like have a pretty good grasp on the state of the current political landscape, a lot of people are not there. And similar to what you just said, Ole, I had to realize that a lot of Black people just are not like there. Like there is not a lot of political education. And I think the problem that the Democrats are facing right now in losing the black male vote, because again, like Black men vote like very much so in alignment with the Democratic Party, is that the systems that Democrats were complicit in creating is eating away at their own populace. And I think that is evident in like the school to prison pipeline, for example, prioritizing certain factions of policy over others. And I think it's just like, yeah, they kind of screwed themselves. And I think like having a more left-leaning politic makes it hard to look at these problems and to kind of like feel any sympathy towards the Democratic Party for that. But I do believe like there is a difference between Trump, Lord Jesus, and Kamala. I think, the president is going to be a cop either way. It's just a matter of like how bad you want to be, how bad you want your police brutality to be at this point. You know?
That's it.
Is there anyone?
That's the American.
I agree with this. I agree. Do you want Vice President Harris, or do you want the man that announced that he was going to give more immunity to police officers? I agree with this analysis. I think maybe this is my problem. Like, I don't feel like anything new is being said. Am I muted? I shouldn't be muted. Let me check. Someone said I'm muted. No, it says I'm fine. I don't. Can you all hear me? Drop a 1 if you can hear me. My problem with this is not like, it's not even that I don't agree. It's just like, it feels repetitive. Like everyone just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. And they're just celebrating each other, repeating it over. I don't know, maybe I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I think I'm the problem. I will not critique this anymore. Like, I am the problem. I am the problem. Because, like, it doesn't feel like they're engaging. We don't know the opposition's argument. We don't know what men who are voting Trump actually think. We don't have an idea of any real pushback against their ideas. It just feels like a celebratory live stream to, like, condescend, which I don't mind. I don't mind. I love hearing smart people talk. But it's just the point, it feels like, I mean, I guess they're talking to their own people. They're not attempting to get new people. So, yeah.
Is there anyone that you guys do see? Is there anyone who does speak for us? Because I think that's part of the problem is we don't have.
Why you want someone to speak for you every time? Let me give him a chance. Let me actually give him a chance. Because, like, why do you want people to speak for you? I know it's a representative democracy and all, but like when it comes to culturally, like just go vote how you want to vote and make your own. You are on your platform. Speak for yourself.
Somebody to rally around as Black men currently. I think there's a lot of desperate figures out there, just kind of spread
like
out.
Leaders?
Yeah, leaders, thought leaders, cultural leaders.
Yeah.
There's like a smatter.
That's 100%. That's 100% true because back during the civil rights era and stuff like that, we had all types of leaders. We don't have stuff like that anymore. I don't even know where to begin with that one.
I was about to say, I feel like I'm gonna let Shaheem talk. I feel like we're probably on the same page in my soul.
this is probably going to be taken in the wrong way. I hope it's not. But Black men, similar to all men in this country in general, have been so inducted into the manosphere, where a lot of the representation is, I think of the Kevin Samuels of the world, who take advantage of male loneliness, which is like definitely an epidemic happening here, and like constantly feed into this idea that women are the blame. Again, I said this is such a complicated and multifaceted issue. I think a large part of why a lot of Black men immediately feel reprehensive towards Kamala, even though we all agree there is a lack of education across the board, is simply because a lot of Black men hate Black women. And I know.
Okay, period. Okay, period. Okay, period. Because here's the thing. Them sitting around there, sorry. Them sitting up there pretending like they don't know what is happening is wild to me. It didn't take me 2 years on YouTube talking to these men and doing research to come to the conclusion that they just up there like, oh, I don't what is happening? Why are men doing this? Why are men doing period? So Obama was right. Oh, are they gonna push back? Because I know they don't like fighting. I know they don't. Let me go back a little. You better go up the end. You better let them know. Finally. Oh my God. People are like, oh my God, men are just trying. They don't know what to do. They don't understand the politics. They don't know about voting. No, that is not what's happening. That is not what is happening. Either some are too lazy to engage and vote, or they're misogynistic and they don't like women generally, Black women specifically, and Kamala, in a lot of their mind, Vice President Harris is a Black woman in a lot of their minds. Dating a white man.
That's it.
Is there anyone?
That's the American Empire, man.
Is there anyone that you guys do see? Is there anyone who does speak for us? Because I think that's part of the problem is we don't have somebody to rally around as Black men currently. I think there's a lot of desperate figures out there, just kind of spread
like
out.
Leaders?
Yeah, leaders, thought leaders, cultural leaders.
Yeah.
There's like a smatter.
That's 100%. That's 100% true because back during the civil rights era and stuff like that, we had all types of leaders. We don't have stuff like that anymore. I don't even know where to begin with that one.
I was about to say, I feel like I'm gonna let Shaheen talk. I feel like we're probably on the same page in my soul.
I'm probably this is probably going to be taken in the wrong way. I hope it's not. But Black men, similar to all men in this country in general, have been so inducted into the manosphere, where a lot of the representation is, I think of the Kevin Samuels of the world, who take advantage of male loneliness, which is like definitely an epidemic happening here, and like constantly feed into this idea that women are the blame. Again, I said this is such a complicated and multifaceted issue. I think a large part of why a lot of Black men immediately feel reprehensive towards Kamala, even though we all agree there is a lack of education across the board, is simply because a lot of Black men hate Black women. And I know it might not be like blatant hate, it might not be outright hate, but I believe like culturally, like we have a problem in our culture as Black people where, especially here, where Black women are constantly degraded and put down. I think a lot of the reasons why somebody mentioned spike towards the Democrats, which is why people are like going in the opposite direction. I think it's deeper than that. I think it might be spike towards Black women and how Black women like typically lean politically, because a lot of men are conditioned to blame women for their problems and the things that they lack, specifically Black women, because those are the closest women to them in proximity. And I know to me, it's a cultural thing, and it's also so many other, because don't take this too far out of context, it's so many different layers to it, because there are different people who are coming to the same conclusions for different reasons. Like there are still Black men who believe that we are the original Hebrew Israelites. There's a lot of them.
There are a lot.
There are Black men who are like extremely left, or I won't say extreme, like they lean more to the left, and they're able to take a step back and analyze that a lot of these systems are just fucked, and the way that the country works in general is just like exploitive and anti-Black. And then there are people who just like feed into conspiratorial thinking that think like, P. Diddy is running the government or some shit. Like, I think there's so many layers, but
she knows
often across the board, especially with Black men, it is a deep hatred for Black women. And that's just
I agree.
What do you mean exactly though? But like, can we break down the nuance of that though in terms of hate? Because
And that's where I would be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to break down the nuance of hate. You know what hate means. You can go Google it. Sitting up there, can we break down the nuance of hate? No. You are probably one of them too. If you're sitting up there and I'm telling you this and you're like, hey, can you break down? No, I can't. I cannot. This is why people don't like talking to me. I see why people don't like talking to me, because I'm not about to sit there and break down nothing for you. I would look at you like you're dumb. I would say, I would say, you know what? Yeah, I can. Black femicide, the fact that black men are killing black men, leaving black children. Like, I would just do it. I would go in. The fact you're not, no. What do you mean? No, I'm not, I wouldn't. And I don't like when people do that. People who do this kind of stuff right now, they put you in a position to be the bad guy, and they think that you are not going to answer them and you're going to dance around, so it would weaken the initial point that you make. That will never happen to me. Ask me why. I either say absolutely not, I'm not going to engage with you, or I'm going to go in and tell you why fully. Shame you and everyone up there. No. I hate when people do. Can you explain hate? No, Google it. Look up hate.
Hate can be viewed a few different ways, I feel like, because there's a hate that white racists have for us. And because I get what you're saying, but like,
define it anywhere and it applies. Define anywhere you want to define hate. Anywhere you want to define hate, it applies. All of the ways you define hate, it applies.
can you break that down a little bit more in terms of like hate? Is it like I can't stand this? You know what I'm saying? Or is it...
I feel like I gotta answer this one as the woman here. I feel like that's the issue too. Like, I think that what I found crazy about the discussions about Black women and Black men in this election, right? It's like, on one hand, I felt very like I've gone out of my way like every time to be very.
I hope she doesn't actually validate the do-rag's point, because if she validates do-rag's point, then the initial statement she made about men being scapegoated is wild. If she is about to validate, because she said, I'll explain hate, which sounds like she's in agreement that these men hate women, right? Agreed. I also agree. But if that's her position, the initial statement that it's a scapegoating of Black men is wild. But let's hear.
Sensitive to like how the Black man perceives things and how I talk about things, you know what I mean? Even though I can see, and I've lived my life as a Black woman, and I experience, I know the vitriol that is had for Black women. It is a lived experience, and how we're perceived, all this, all yada yada yada. And yet, like, I see that, I feel the need to like discuss it in this way, and I've seen like Black women trying to discuss it in a way, like trying to be like sensitive to that. And there's a flip side to the way that Black women are regularly discussed, and I think it's important to like point out. People think of it like when you try to explain to like white people about racism and white privilege and microaggressions and the fact that you can do these things and these can be racist and these can be harmful without you waking up and consciously deciding I am racist. I think Black people are inferior.
No. She's eating. She's dragging. She's right. So for me to engage with this, I'm going to ignore the initial statement she's making about this is scapegoating, because to do this kind of analysis and have this kind of working knowledge of the world, misogyny, and how men operate in it, likening it to racism, and how white people pull back from engagement in conversation that have them at the center of racism, because they're like, I individually am not racist. To do that kind of analysis while also saying it is a loud minority is wild. It is wild to do this system level analysis on white, to do this comparative analysis and then say it is a loud minority and scapegoating. All right.
But you were raised and indoctrinated around in a society that ingrains that notion and things. So you are going to implicitly and unintentionally like conduct yourself and do things that are racist, right? Regardless of like who you are in your spirit. And it's the same thing when it comes to sexism and patriarchy. Like, this is a patriarchal society. Like, it's not, I feel like so many men, particularly, I'm not saying Black men because of the majority, I'm saying Black men because that's who I'm in community with, you know, that take offense. Like, the way I saw so many Black men jumping down, like angry, like it has nothing to do with sexism. Black men aren't sexist. Like, they're not in the same breath calling Kamala every kind of bitch, refusing to say her name. There's a certain level to which they're like slut shaming her. They're, you know, denigrating her. And like, it's evident and it's present. And I'm like, when you think about hate, but the existence of the manosphere in and of itself, right? I don't think when I think of the manosphere, I very often sometimes like think of like these bunch of like white incels, right? Like that's who I think like in my picture. But when I think of who the actual manosphere leaders are, they're Kevin Samuels, they're Andrew Tate, whose daddy is black. It's Fresh and Fit. Those are the, you know what I mean? And like you look at like where the shade room, like I think about how many black people were like upset that like Kamala was even going to the shade room. But the reality is a lot of black people, if not the majority of black people, between a different like a teenage to like 30 something age demographic.
All right. So like I am right when I say this woman is smart. I am right. I do not debate this. I think she is smart. That she does this analysis and we're in agreement is great. But how do you do this analysis? Because the system creates misogynist men, right? So we can even blame the system, but the ultimate result is a bunch of misogynist men. Then to say it is a small minority is weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Scapegoating. It's weird. I'm trying to understand why. I mean, I think intimate partners and creating exceptions and wanting community you have to deal with the discomfort of what you think and believe versus the reality. And I think operating in that space might be very difficult. It is interesting because she is doing work right now to me. Like she is doing what needs to be done.
Demographic are getting their news from the shade room. And if you go look at the culture of those comments in that community and see how they talk about and think about black women, it's crazy to me. We can look at who the majority of black media, both mainstream and independent, and look at how they talk about and think about and treat black women and even their lives, like beyond just like on media. So I think like that's like what we mean the hate. The hate is not like in the conscious way that you like wake up and you say I hate women or that I
disagree. It is also that. It is also hate, jealousy. It's also that. It's seeing that women are doing well and promoting that women are doing well by women that have men in their feelings. It's the same conversation we've been having about the only time International Men's Day gets brought up or researched or Googled is on International Women's Day. It's not that they care about themselves per se. They only care about themselves in relation to women. And that's weird. It's not unintentional. It's very intentional.
don't want to be with a woman, but it's the way that you judge and pick apart, and you feel like a visceral, you get a reaction out of the idea that a woman might even be in a spot, that a woman might get a thing. You know what I mean? Like
the leadership role and the gender.
I think that's all.
Right.
That is not unintentional. That is not unintentional. Sorry, I'm clapping that loudly. What you just explained is not unintentional. It's very intentional. It is hate, envy, jealousy. Those are feelings there. Maybe you can't control them, but you expressing them is intentional. Keep that to yourself if you're jealous.
Yeah, like the hierarchy thing. Like,
nothing conspiratorial, but I do think that.
Go ahead, do it.
It's a part of the plan, right? It's divide and conquer, right? If black men can't get to the point where they can stand side by side with black women and they're being fed all of this stuff to
who's feeding them this stuff and who is dividing and conquering, girl?
to make that divide further and further and further, we're never going to be looking in the right direction. And there are so many other versions of that. There are so many other ways that we're being pitched.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Against each other so that we all can't collectivize and look in the right direction. I think there are so many other versions of that that pit poor people against each other, that pit races against each other, age groups against each other. There's a gender war, that goes beyond black people, obviously. Even though those top names like Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate and they are black people, but Andrew Tate's fan base isn't primarily black. I'll tell you that much. You know what I'm saying?
It's not primarily black, but they're in there too. This man just going to deflect and blame. No accountability. Whatever. Black men might be leading the charge, but they are being followed by white men. Therefore, it's not black men. That's the argument. Got it. Period.
The gender divide, the gender divide has a wider appeal, and I mean the reason I think it works so well is because there's a lot, you hear all this stuff being blamed on the patriarchy, and then you take it personally as a man without recognizing that the patriarchy is also what's hurting you. That not enough emphasis not enough emphasis is put on the idea that, like, look, here's the patriarchy, here's how it works, and here's how it hurts you directly as a man.
I absolutely hate this line of argument. Let me sit back, relax, grab yourself some coffee, and let's talk about this. Because it sounds good. It sounds good initially, but this means there is a lack of empathy. If you, in order to do and engage in work for change to better a community for people, require first that you be harmed, that is not okay. So you can look at patriarchy and see how it harms women, and as a motivating factor, the need to help women clicks for you. You have to be harmed first before you act on behalf of someone else. That is wild. He's not wrong. He is not wrong, mind you. This is not an attack or critique on him or what he just said. I actually agree with him that, unfortunately, for you to activate these people politically, they have to see how they are being harmed. And that is the problem. That is the problem. For men to push back against patriarchy and to see women as valuable and equal, they have to also recognize how patriarchy disenfranchises them. And that's weird. Like, you can see that a system needs changing, not because its effects on you individually is negative, but that it's harming people. The harm of other people should be enough motivation for you to be activated to want to change it. That you have to appeal to someone's ego and self-interest is weird. Like, obviously we're humans and there's a lot of that has to happen. So I agree with him, but it means that there's not a lot of empathy outward towards the women.
This is why you should also not like this thing. Instead, people get in their feelings and think everything is a personal attack on their manhood.
I don't like this. And I wish this is why no one can talk to me, because I'm going to call him out on it. I'm going to call him out on it. Yes, you're right. However, the fact that men have to be harmed in this very overt, explicit, obvious way for them to understand how patriarchy hurts women and want to do something about it is nasty to me. Like, you don't have to be the center of the world for you to want to change it. Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated not because he's wrong or what he says is inappropriate, but it is the truth underlining like what is happening now, why men don't care. It is why that quote that I posted from Michelle Obama is kind of useless. Because they don't, unless you're appealing to them specifically about their own interests, they don't care. These men want to be centered in a conversation about women's oppression. Yes. That is what is being said, and that is sad. I'm so frustrated. Like, I'm frustrated because, no, I'm not going to put them out there like that.
I think, something I've been thinking about, and I feel like Cam and Jay Sean and your comments like made me remember a comment I read from a Black thinker. I can't remember. I think she deleted it. I went to go search for the post, but she posted it like around the Obama time. And I thought it was interesting because she talked about like how much energy and work like is being spent to pander to Black men this election, and how that's like being called for, right? Like Jay Sean's that is being demanded. Like, and to what Ernest said earlier, it's just the idea that like if things can be done to help Black people, but if it's not marked Black man, it's not for the Black man. And I don't know really how to reconcile that if like you dismiss what isn't marked Black man
No, 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 don't say you don't know how to reconcile it. You know how to reconcile it. You know how to. Oh my God, Ole, Ole need me in her life. I think Ole needs to be radicalized. I I think I need to meet Ole in real life, not on no YouTube. And I think I should be her friend because she do need to be radicalized. Because ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no. Don't reconcile it. It is what it is. Yes, they don't care, or they don't care enough when it's not affecting them individually. Yes, yeah. Yes, you are right. Do not try to talk your way or rationalize your way out of creating a common ground. The truth is what it is. Women are jumping up and down fighting for men, but for men to be activated to fight for women, they have to be fighting against something that also hurts them, because if it only hurts women, they don't care. Yes, do that work.
But you also, if it's marked black man, it's pandering. And but what she pointed out was the fact that here is this election where you get like, it's the first black woman president, and there should be historical, and you're not even allowed to center that. Like, she's not expected to have a plan for black women. Nothing says black women on it. No one has come up with any plan for black women. You don't hear anybody talking about black maternal health care, the fact that we're dying more in hospitals, or any of the things like that really affect us and are real things happening. But we are expected, demanded everywhere, black outlet, mainstream, independent. And I'm like, I'm guilty of it too. Like, reading what she said is like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I feel a certain sense of Jesus.
Oh, I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know you're doing the same thing. I am glad she's not going to do nothing about this, mind you. She's only pointing out that she's doing the same thing, demanding that black men get this and we care about black men. Meanwhile, black women are being unalived in the hospital trying to create life for us to continue as a species, and no one cares. People do care. But the fact that there is a black man agenda, an official black man agenda by the Harris campaign, and not, I don't see the black woman agenda. To be fair, I think she thinks that wrapping black womanhood in womanhood generally is the black woman agenda. But there is a specific black male agenda that is promoted because it was demanded. But black men sit around talking about no one care about black men, while there is an agenda specifically laid out for them that they're online whining and crying. Mind you, I am not going to forget that there is a tweet out there saying black men don't care nothing about no student loan forgiveness because they don't go to school. That is for black women, when it's in the black man agenda, as if black men don't go to school or can't go to school. That is wild. That is wild. Nothing about her content will change, mind you. This realization is just for this conversation. That's it, that's all. Nothing about it will change.
Why do people call me? I'm feeling a certain sense of having to like, how can I like, I'm always trying to be extra sensitive and like thoughtful about how I talk to and about black men, versus like, not only am I not having to do the same for black women, and I'm not expected to, but I would be chewed out if I did. Like, even down to how I conduct, like when I was reading this and I'm talking about the indictment, I was like, shit, that's not true. Like, I have like Ole and friends, I've done multiple like only black men and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I have to do that because the way it's received, that there's even, you know what, if I have 4 black women to 2 black men, that is like black men are in the comments up in outrage. I always do 3 black women, 3 black men if it's not, you know what I mean? And then you'll have black men and then they'll say that's not the.
Okay, so she confessed to catering to black men. Got it. I don't know what she's saying, but I heard I cater to black men. Let me clear this up. I like her. I like her a lot. I think that she is really smart. And I don't want my emotional outbursts to ever suggest that I dislike her or have any animosity towards her. I do not. There is zero hate or anything in my heart towards this woman. I actually find her to be a breath of fresh air. I just don't like the I'll leave that alone. It's a specific thing, and the reason I don't like it is because it's not reciprocated. It's not reciprocated. It's not reciprocated at all for her. She made a felony murder video, and I had some legal, theoretical, and very specific disagreement with this, with her video. And I've been sitting on a response. And one of the things that I'm trying to contend with, why you haven't seen it, and I'm still working through if I want to put it out, is I think that she's being attacked by men that she defends online. And I don't want to add to that. I don't want to add to it. I would much rather like talk about it live and like not make it a video topic because I don't want to send any hate or harm her way. But I do so fundamentally disagree with the assessment and the breakdown of the video. And I'm thinking I should, but yeah, I don't want to do it. Because I think she's been attacked by men for not being more male-centered. That's wild. That's wild. The demand for her to cater to men online is...
a Black man that represents them. If they're not Black men that are like spewing a traditional kind of like toxic masculinity, then they say those are not the Black men. So it's very like not only.
Oh, mind you, let me make this very clear. The only women I respond to publicly are women, not only. If I make a video like the way that I did for Kimberly Nicole Foster, specific feminist, those women are women I truly respect. Let's be very clear. So anytime I make a video response to like a feminist theorist online, they are people that I have a lot of respect for. And that's the only reason I do it. But I don't think it's fair because I just don't want, like, yeah. I'm going to think about it. The Discord and I will talk some more.
Only does it feel impossible, but there is a level of like, I'm like, yeah, there's an inherent misogyny and sexism, and even how we're like dealing with this election and how we're like, think about it. Like when it's the first black man is the first Black man president, yada, yada, yada. Like no one is ever expected. No Black women have never been centered, you know? And even still now, so I'm just like.
The idea that's a great point because I just saw recently that was a post where it was Latino men and families. She made one recently about that as well. Also, before that, Black men. And I'm just like, no, you're totally right. There's an expectation that these minority men get centered. And then I guess like, oh, if women are being centered, it's centered around like, abortion rights and things related to that. And it's just almost like a throwaway. But there is an emphasis on that because I think maybe there's an expectation or something like that where there is that disconnect with Black and Latino men that you have to convince them that you as a woman are going to help them because they like almost inherently believe that you're not going to. I'm not saying all.
Wait, where did the Latino part come from? Look, I'm not in the Latino community, but I didn't realize Latino men were demanding that the women advocate for them. I didn't know that was a thing, but I could be wrong. Don't hold that against me because I don't actually know that. I feel like that's not true, but I mean, because I feel like he just like made like dirty the water up a little bit so we can see through it. Feels like he was trying to divert right now, divert the attention.
All Black men or all Latino men. I'm not saying that, but I think there is this thing where they think like, oh, I need to specifically pander to them because they have told me that I need to pander to them specifically to get something. What are you specifically doing for me? And it's debatable if the thing that you say actually is going to work or not, whatever you might say.
It's a latent thing with us where I think all minority males, it's a latent thing where it's like, if you censor women, then you are the opposition. I don't think Kamala.
All right. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Men, period, are jealous of women, period. In this new economy, men feel like their rights are being trampled on. The groups of men begging for a change in their benefit, not actually taking power and trying to change it for themselves, which is not great, is only one. Let's be very clear about that. I don't agree. I don't believe none of this foolishness. So I do actually agree, though, that men, and I wouldn't say, if you are going to do the analysis of whether or not men are feeling like they're left behind, it's not just Black men. That is true. It is all men in America, all of them. I think the problem comes when we talk about who is asking for advocacy, who is not doing any real advocacy, and who look to the women to advocate on their behalf when they want power, but no responsibility behind the power.
Could center women and win this election. And I think Kamala is very, very aware of what she can and can't do to close out this final stretch of the election. That's why she waffles on questions and interviews. She cannot take a stance like that. She will lose. She's very hyper.
If that is the truth about the men, then you can't say it is a loud minority. You can't hold this position that these men are that misogynistic and sexist while also saying it's a loud. No. Ever so often, I go into my Discord and I am trying to be as introspective as I can because I can be wrong. And I know that I can be wrong in my analysis, regardless of what the research says. I might be doing too much. But hearing some of these people who advocate on behalf of men and talk about the system, having them really actually grapple with the reality that Kamala cannot advocate on behalf of women and take stance pro-women because men will not vote for her, that men are misogynistic. For them to say that and then pretend they didn't say it in the next video is weird to me. It's weird. And this is not to say I disagree with them right now. I very much agree with their assessment.
Aware of how each stance would affect her chances of finishing out this stretch without alienating a certain sect of the population. She is a politician, and she's a good one. And her team is aware of how these things usually go. So there is no world where she's going to put up a flag and be like, yeah, I'm a Black woman. The only reason she's even mentioned it is because Trump is like, she turned Black all of a sudden. She had no choice but to address it because he's being ridiculous. But even if he wasn't, yeah, there is no world, at least not yet, at least not in America's current makeup, where she could be like, I'm a Black woman. These are the things that are important to Black women. We need to address this directly. No, she would prefer to go on Call Her Daddy, the white podcast, and talk about reproductive rights to all women at once, as opposed to prioritizing Black women.
Is that so? I'm glad that we got to that point, because I think it speaks to one, political reality, but also how unchanged that political reality and is a way that I think is going to upset us again, like the way Kamala set up a failure, right? Because I remember when Obama was in office, and I remember even my daddy like explaining to me why Obama has to do things more for like maybe the LGBT community, but he can't do things for Black people in the same way because it's perceived as this and this is the next thing, right? Like I recall it, and it's not untrue.
I know you believe that. I know you believe that. I don't know her to object, but that's not one. I ain't never seen this. I ain't never seen this diversity you speak of. I've never seen this diversity you speak of that she loves. That actually is my main critique of her is that, actually.
Right? Like it's not untrue. It wasn't untrue. Like it wasn't untrue. And I also don't like, by the way, this idea that like Obama is explicitly a failure for the purposes of not like having done things that benefited other marginalized communities is a very selfish and anti-liberation type argument that is ridiculous to me. Like, but anyway, like, but not all Obama critiques withstanding. But like not for nothing. In the same way that was the case in 2008, 2012, here we are with Kamala recognizing that she can't advocate for Black women. You know what I mean? She can't advocate for Black women. We know that. And she can't even do that and maintain like a certain amount of Black support, let alone other support. Yep. So like that, I think that like that really to me illuminates like a political reality that I think we struggle to like accept as progressives. Like the fact that America's elected.
All right, someone said, I'm not prepared for things. The accusation of misogyny is an attempt to delegitimize the concern Black men have as not being real. Their vision for America and politics they have does not have to be taken seriously. What's his name? Robert Reed. You want the link to come up and tell me your concern? Robert Reed, I saw your comment and I want you to let me know what concerns you think is being missed. Because they are misogynistic. What do you mean?
America's populace and like the American populations, America's voting public and stuff are not as progressive as you would like. And like, they're not. They're absolutely not. Like, I don't know what that means. Shaheem, you go.
I'm sorry. I just like, okay, so one, I will say, I don't know exactly what Barack Obama did for the LGBTQ community. He came into office not even believing in same-sex marriage. So that's one. The Supreme Court like ruled for same-sex marriage, and that is like a white LGBTQ issue. So I'm not even going to touch on that too much because I give about marriage when the majority of homeless youth are LGBTQ Black youth. Okay, that's one.
All right, see, this is the progressive. This is the side of progressive ideas that I don't fully understand. What do you mean marriage equality is not for Black people? Can't Black men get married? Can Black gay men not get married? He pushed for Obama, to be fair, he was talking about civil union, right? Because it was not politically expedient for him to be pro-gay marriage when he was running, trying to get a coalition of people, both center and center-right, on his side to win the presidency. We can argue about his debate, his strategy, but while he was president, he definitely pushed for marriage equality. He definitely pushed for marriage equality and openness in the military. Part of the Black rejection of Obama is that Obama cared more about LGBT rights than Black people. That was the argument, and the pushback against that on every single panel that I've ever been on is to acknowledge that LGBT rights are within the Black diaspora. Like, Black people are gay too. That statement, I know it, I understand it, I've heard it before, and his concerns about youth being on the street and homelessness, it's legitimate, fully legitimate. But to pretend that, us getting the Black people, getting the right to live and be free in not every area, but most area is somehow not related to like gay rights more generally. Like, this is weird to me. This is weird. I don't understand this push. I've heard it so many times and I don't understand it. We, the Black people, have within our group gay people. Gay people being able to get married include Black gay people. If you don't like marriage equality, then that's fine. But don't say that you don't care about it and that it doesn't matter and that it doesn't affect you.
But two, I think the strange thing happens when there's an oppressed identity intersecting with a privileged identity. And this is the part where I have tried to find so many different ways to say this gently. No matter how gently I say it, though, it's still received the same way. But I say this as someone, I'm a queer Black person, but still I'm a male. Like, at the end of the day, I acknowledge that I have privilege because I am male in a patriarchal society. A lot of people who have an oppressed identity, like being Black, and a privileged identity like being a man have a hard time like acknowledging the privileged part of their identity, and that creates this victim complex that kicks into overdrive anytime someone that they hold privilege over gets any semblance of power or equality before them.
It seems like it shouldn't be.
Oh, he ate that last bit though. He ate that last bit down. I don't care nothing about the first half of what he said, because yes, I agree with him that there are major concerns for youth, but I don't think you should use the existence of these issues to negate the actual work and political influence engaged with by Obama to create the space for gay rights, right? As it exists today. If Obama isn't pro-Black, he's pro-gay. Like, I'm not even going to do that with you. Separately, the whole argument about intersectionality around gender and race, perfectly stated. You ate that all the way down. Period.
Be that
all
hard.
of our oppressions are interwoven and interconnected.
It seems like it shouldn't be that hard to illustrate to somebody.
Like, my main point though.
I thought you were sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just think it's absurd.
It's because they're being delayed, Nicholas.
That we're trying to explain. It should be simple to explain to somebody that the idea that a Black woman should have to minimize herself and hold less space for a Black man is absurd. It's like that. Like the fact that that she's gonna put her.
Well, welcome to Black women's reality. As absurd as it is, that is the reality. Black women diminishing themselves, muting themselves, close their mouth more, be softer, less awake, fasted for 60 days, wore white, sleep on a mat on the floor, swallowed a sword, levitated. They have to do everything for Black men. And the question, are you cheating on me? Yes, they're still cheating.
Her rights and her needs on the back burner so that I will feel more comfortable is ridiculous. That like we need a way to illustrate to people that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like you were saying about privilege, I wish that because that argument about
I'm mad you memorized. I actually do memorize it, but I was saying it out of line. Out of order. I memorize everything Beyonce does. And period.
Barack Obama and not doing anything for Black people, that's going to happen all over again. It's going to be a whole other nuanced argument that people aren't ready to have about Kamala Harris. And we just started kind of opening that can of worms right.
I don't even why did that become a talking point that we accept? Like, Barack Obama didn't do anything for Black people. That is not true. The question now is, what did he do? Like, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. Like.
Right now. That's kind of why I was talking about we need a person who can meet us where we're at as Black men, because we need somebody to explain the absurdity to the average Black man, I think. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I forgot about this point. I thought about it earlier when y'all were talking about it. I think another issue, like, because y'all are right, like in the past, like in the civil rights movement and stuff, there were lots of leaders, right? But what I think is the difference today, if you think of who the people were that were considered leaders, and like they weren't just like the activists, they're the writers, they're the this, you know what I mean? They're all the James Baldwin, all of these, all of those people, like the variations, the generation of who are those people in this present world exist. But they exist in a world where then an entirely different landscape than existed then. One where everybody is online, where everyone is trying to have a platform, and more importantly, everybody is trying.
Sorry, I was trying to find something in my. I'm trying to find something in my outline. So we did a work stream a long time ago, and I still have it about what Obama did for Black people. I'm trying to find that, like, there was $1 billion Black farmers loan thing that he did, and I cannot find it. it was like a settlement to Black farmers who have been denied loan assistance for like agricultural development. And he oversaw that. The funding for HBCU that what's his name, Trump has been getting a lot of credit for. Obama literally expanded that. Like, and I just don't understand, like, even like down to the Affordable Care Act and who, like, the fact that Black people were benefiting from that. Like, I don't understand why we just accept this idea that he didn't do anything. The Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department was like created. He created. You know, y'all need help. I don't care nothing about what nobody got to say. Yeah, Obama didn't do anything for Black people. It's a nasty statement created by the right and pushed into the Black community as just a random statement that we just accept and repeat it without literally saying anything.
Trying to tear down those platforms. And it's like before, you always had the infighting in the civil rights movement and all these people and them trying to critique each other and other people trying to do it, but it didn't travel at the same rate that it can travel now. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain way people spend their time actively trying to bring, and other people within the movement on their side, other Black people spend all their time trying to cast doubt on everybody that is trying to be a thought leader or trying to do that work. So I think it is much harder for Black people, Black men to have a leader, because who can they trust when every single person, like I'm sure all of us, even if it's just regular on a much lesser scale as thought leaders or whatever in our spaces, can show you the anti-movement saying that we're shills and we're the enemy and we're the op and the blah 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 blah. Like I could see it. I could point to them right now. I see that. So it's like I think that's the difficulty, right? Like imagine if MLK did I Have a Dream and niggas was on Twitter by the thousands, like look at this fraud ass and it's not violent. You know what I mean?
Girl, they'd be dragging him too. Can you imagine? Not even MLK, because I have a dream that Black people and white people will get together. Black man would be very pro of that. I believe most Black men would be like, yay! It's the Malcolm X they would be dragging. I believe that Black people would be dragging Malcolm X. I do. When he said the most disrespected, before he finished that statement, they would be on Twitter dragging him. Yep.
A Democratic shield. He over there shilling.
Right. Look at him with this non-peaceful shit. Of course, they let him go be there with the March on Washington because white people like it. That's how you know the establishment is fine with it.
Right.
That's what would be happening.
You're speaking on something that I think about all the time. I talk to some of my friends about, and this might sound crazy. I don't know. But sometimes I'm like, the internet was a mistake. The internet was a mistake. Social media was a mistake. I get on social media and I immediately am like, what the is this?
Bro,
Don't even get me started on Twitter.
I just did the same thing. I had to.
I took some screenshots because I'm going to make a video about how Elon has turned it into a racist wasteland.
100%.
But then I deleted my account because, to your point, social media has not only created a rise of contrarians, it's also created a rise of just the simple fact that you can monetize being a contrarian now.
Yeah.
So like, and to be completely fair, it started with people monetizing being pro-Black in general. Like the blue checks, when the blue checks started happening and the blue check Black people on Twitter started having their rise in audiences. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but it became a thing where people who constantly talk about civil rights were getting speaking engagements. They were getting like endorsements on the side. They were getting brand deals, et cetera, et cetera. And once it becomes a business to be loudly pro-Black.
Do y'all know who Jamal is? I forgot. It was the Beneficial Black Man at one point, but now I forgot the name. I keep referencing the page as the Beneficial Black Man. There is something very similar to the way this one engage and the way Jamal engage. It's very very thoughtful, like cerebral, but like really like, I don't like using the phrase heart-centered because like the way that I got it from Ianla. I got it from Ianla, so I don't like using it. Thank you. Here it is. The beneficial blur. I did not realize that was what it was. I honestly was gonna say nerd. Jamal, I love you. I'm so sorry. But yeah, he reminds me of Jamal. Very like measured and thoughtful, but like filled with like emotions in his words. It's really nice to hear.
Then you have to go looking for things to complain about. And that's when it started. It started there. And then the contrarians to those people, they also rose up. And now everybody who amasses a certain level of audience, we've all amassed a certain level of audience, has the ability to monetize their random thoughts. And so I think we're at the point of no return. You know, to Jay Sean's point, there is no going back. Like, we should just stop entertaining that notion altogether. The technology just does not go backwards. So we've reached the point where we're permanently in this space where no matter what you're doing, no matter how much good you're doing, there's a YouTuber that's looking to wait for you to mess up so they can make a video on you. There's journalists like analyzing your background to see if they can do an expose before that YouTuber even gets to it. We're permanently in a space where there are no leaders because all the leaders are just, they have a mob around them waiting to monetize their failures.
1,000%.
Can I add, can I get in my historical bag real quick?
Yeah.
And then Shaheem, I think you was about to make a point too about something that you say that make people angry. I want to hear that. But I got to get in my history bag first. I think too, one of the big differences is when MLK and all of them was doing their thing, like TVs were just starting to become common in everybody's house. So like the distractions were there. People, what were we doing for fun? Reading books, like going outside, you know what I'm saying, double dutch, playing jacks and dominoes and stuff like that, having face-to-face conversations, actually having to sit down and read something and digest it. And those conversations we have now publicly were kept inside. You know, one of the things that I feel like,
wait, the fact that I'm out here making connection in my brain and part of it is being validated by the what do you call it? The Discord is actually nasty work. And that's why I need to stop running my mouth. I need to stop running my mouth on YouTube. Because this is how I get people, and this is how I start problems. That's right here. Me talking is how I start. Okay. I'm so sorry. This is not even an internal joke or in whatever it's called. I'm getting put in my place right now.
every content creator, really anybody on social media should have, is a group chat of people that you can dump stuff to. You know, like when you're frustrated about something, or you might be about to make a post, or you got a visceral reaction, it's like, say it there first. Like, what y'all think about that? You know, oh, bro, no, don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, like wait a couple days,
I'm so sorry to this man, but I'm not about to do that.
Or even like family places that people in Harlem could actually, and so she gets pushed out by the Democrats, and I don't even realize it, because sometimes what they do is they replace them with a Black person you might like, and you don't even, if you're not plugged in, you don't know.
I feel like that we've gotten enough from this. Y'all can go watch the rest of this. I'm bored. No. All right, let me rephrase that. I agree with the assessment of the panelists, and I agree with all of this. It doesn't feel like there is anything that I'm going to learn from this. It could be. I might watch it on my own. I like watching Ole's video. Ole and Friends. The best way to put this. Ole and Friends, like, I feel like she could do that on her own. But like, I understand getting other people together and just talking about things. I don't really feel like they gained new perspective. I feel like they just all agree. So it's kind of like, I played in the background sometimes and I forget it's on, and like I'll reach for my phone and just like go to another video, not realizing it's on, because it's like, okay, like I get it, kind of thing. So yeah, no. All right. So let's move from that and go to in the vein of politics, let's just wrap up politics quickly and go to, I want to talk about Beyonce and Kelly Rowland's speech. I do. I want to talk about Beyonce and Kelly Rowland's speech at the rally. But I don't think it's going to be meaningful. But I did put them in the thumbnail. So I'm going to play parts of their speech. The way that I'm critiquing this, like, I'm trying to figure out how to critique this in a way that's like justified and right and thoughtful. I'm not sure what they were supposed to do. I'm not sure what I was expecting. I didn't dislike the speech. Kelly was really into her speech. Kelly was really into her speech, girl. She was feeling that speech. Let's just play it. You better not mock their country act. No, I love Kelly. People always say Beyonce doesn't speak well and blah blah blah. I find Beyonce to be extremely poised. She understands the pageantry that is celebrity. She plays the game really, really, really well, and I appreciate it. Haters will say whatever they'll say. I don't engage with hating people. I don't do haters.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my Houston family. I am so proud to be here, back in Houston, with my mama T and my sister. Welcome to this day, this remarkable, this joyous day. A date, a time, a moment to wait and meaning for our country, for our people, and for the world. A moment, Houston, where we grab back the pen from those who are trying to write a American story of division and hatred. A moment when we grab back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story of misogyny and racism. We are grabbing back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story that was denied.
I don't know who the speechwriter was. I don't know who I don't know who the speechwriter was, but I actually like the speech. I would not make grabbing back the pen. I would make grabbing back the pen the like.
The right for women to make our own decisions about our bodies. Houston, we are grabbing back the pen. We are grabbing back the pen. That pen to forge a new path with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We are grabbing back the pen to write a new American story, a story of community, of equality, strength, of kindness, and hope. That kid to forge a new path with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We are grabbing back the pen. When we grab back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story of misogyny and racism. We are grabbing back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story that will deny the right for women to make our own decisions about our bodies. Houston, we are grabbing back the pen. We are grabbing back the pen. That kid to forge a new path with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We are grabbing back the pen to write a new American story, a story of community, of equality, strength, of kindness, and hope. When I was a little girl, and I pledged allegiance to the United States of America, that meant something to me. That flag meant something to me. And today, that means grabbing that pen and casting my vote, as I already did today, for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Now, Houston, you already have a hand in creating destiny. So do what you do, and do the same again.
I thought that was a cute speech, but that grabbing back the pen. Wait, what pen? What? You know what, girl? Period. We don't care nothing about none of that. Just grab back the pen. I do not like the phrase. Grabbing back the pen is like a very strange, uninspired phrase to center your speech around as a metaphor for reclaiming power and your rights. Very strange indeed. But but I mean, I did not enjoy. Wait, someone said Kelly thought she was gonna be VP. Why y'all so messy? Why y'all messy? Why y'all so messy? Kelly don't think she gonna be no VP. Kelly does not think she gonna. She just grabbing at the pen, y'all. Just grabbing at the pen.
We are at the precipice of an incredible shift. The great history. I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother.
She should have said, I'm here as a mother, the mother, your mother. Now bow down. Bow. She should have break off into song. She should have given us at least 2 notes. She should have given us something. I think she should have given us a song. But she said she's not here as a. She said y'all can't afford that. She said y'all can't afford to hear me sing. So you go hear me. You're gonna get these 1-2 words. You're gonna get inspired. I'm gonna inspire you all real quick.
Imagine our grandmothers. Imagine what they feel right now. Those who have lived to see this historic day.
There were 30,000 people there. There were 30,000 people there. Them gays did not come lined up in there to see Kamala. The gays, these people thought they were going to go get a free Beyonce concert. These people thought they were gonna go to a Kamala Harris campaign rally and get a free Beyonce concert. You're gonna fork over that $1,000. You're gonna have to sell some organs to see Beyonce perform. Thought you're gonna get a free Beyonce. Someone said Martin Luther Bay. Period.
Imagine all of their sacrifice. The sacrifice is made so we can witness the strength of a woman. Reimagine what leadership is. All men and women in this room.
Yo, they know not to have Jay-Z up there. They knew. This is so diabolical because they knew Jay-Z. They knew not to have Jay-Z up there promoting nothing. They knew because if Jay-Z was up there, ain't nobody got time. All right, Beyond. Someone said next. Oh, you don't know me. You don't know me. I wrote a whole video, did a whole video on Beyonce, and you think I'm about to skip her speech? The haters can leave and come back after. Ain't nobody got. I'm listening to every single word this woman speaks. I don't know where you think you are.
and watching around the country. We need you. Your voice has power and attitude. Your vote is one of the most valuable tools, and we need you. Your freedom is your God-given right, your human right. Everybody say Texas. Texas plays a pivotal role to change the course of our future. Texas is Smithsonian's third ward. River Oaks, Sugar Land, Able, Memorial, Southwest Side, North Side, all the way down to Mississippi. We all have a role to play to make this reality. We're all part of something much bigger. We must vote. And we need you. It's time to sing a new song. A song that
Oh my God. When she said it's time to sing a new song, she should have done Lift Up Her Voice. She should have given her. Beyonce played in our faces, but it's fine. I wonder what it's like to be Beyonce. I wonder what that's like. To like, imagine just waking up and looking at the mirror and being like, I am Beyonce. Yeah. I can, you know what? I've understood the hate. I'm just watching my viewer count go down because period. And I love it because I wonder, I too would hate, like, it, let me word this properly. I've always wondered why people don't like Beyonce. But I get it. I get it. I get it. Imagine waking up and realizing you are not Beyonce. That can be a shock to the system. Shock to the system. Imagine like you will look in the mirror and you realize, whoa, I am not her. That must suck. That must suck. That must suck.
began 248 years ago. The old notes of downfall, discord, despair no longer resonate. Our generations of loved ones before us are whispering the prophecy, the quest, the calling, and the anthem. Our moment right now, it's time for America to sing a new song. Our voices sing a chorus of unity. They sing a song of dignity and opportunity. Are y'all ready to add your voice to the new American song? So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Please.
All right, so that's what she did, and she did what needed to be done. However, this transition is actually diabolical. The transition right here is so diabolical because the next thing on the agenda is Kalina. And I think this is really toxic. So what I'm going to do, instead of going to talking about Kalina, instead of like legit transitioning to Kalina, I'm just going to jump over that because ain't no way. Let me show you that I'm not playing. That's actually legitimately what is next. I'm not about to do that. So for the people in the Discord, let's jump into Love is Blind. I feel like I should go to Love. Oh, people say who? Diddy. That's who was next. Diddy. And I promise you, I didn't even think about it when I was putting the videos together. I didn't even cross my mind. But now I want to go to Love is Blind. I'm trying to think if I should go to Love is Blind or Kalina. Is it Kalina? I think it's Kalina. All right. Kalina. Thank you, Kalina. All right. Seeing not seeing the people from the Discord come up, we're gonna have to skip Love is Blind and go back to Kalina. So this lady decided that she was going to do an interview. And I wanted to start with this, but I need there's certain topics where I prefer for people to watch on rerun because like I don't like engaging. So I know a lot of you are upset whenever it is that I just skip to these. Oh, hello.
Oh, hey.
Hey, cutie patootie, how are you? Well, apparently not
I'm
great.
good. How are you? Not me got pineapple on my shirt. Over here having a snack.
How are you?
I'm good. Perfect time for me to go off camera since my camera want to act brand
Wait,
new.
why? No. I feel like you
It's not.
came and you were serving. You were serving looks. It's giving skin, hair, nails, face, period.
Period.
Period. All right. So I actually wanted us to talk about Love is Blind. And there's been a lot of disagreement about Love is Blind. Sorry, we're going to skip Kalina. We go back to her later. There's a lot of disagreement, and I don't know why. So I'm going to start off with the issue that I'm having. Why do people hate Hannah?
You know,
I don't know why people hate Hannah. Like I don't understand this.
they don't. People don't like to see a woman being nasty. I mean,
You think she's nasty?
I think she's real nasty.
All right, explain, because I have a very different observation.
There's just some things that she says that like you could have just kept that in the inbox, meaning in your brain. I don't think it's everything that she's ever said to Nick because Nick is Nick. But the thing like I turned you from a boy to a man and you've only known this man like 2 weeks is crazy. That's
I mean, I think
insane.
he's still a boy. She failed, but she tried. No, for me, like all right. Let me give my opinion. That no, actually, I want you so go through your analysis of Hannah, because like I have this sixth sense, and it is telling me that people who dislike Hannah fundamentally upholds patriarchy. And I'm going to explain like that thought process, but I want to get fully your ideas.
That was it. That's all I got. That was the only thing. I was like, girl, you could have kept that in the drafts.
Wait, what do you
everything
think about
else?
Hannah?
I mean,
Wait, what do
everything
you think?
else.
I think I asked you why people hate Hannah, so let me not ask that question. What is
Okay.
your opinion on Hannah?
My opinion on Hannah. She's boring. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have an actual real opinion of Hannah. I just think she's kind of there. I think that she was good for entertainment purposes, but I went to private school in Seattle, so I feel like Hannah is just that fringe popular girl who may not necessarily fit into the other box with her other friends. and she's a mean girl, and people don't think she should be a mean girl because she doesn't look the part. So I think misogyny comes up in that vein of like, I think some people truly legitimately think that she's not cute enough to act like this. Because women that may look like, what's her face? What's her name? Brittany? The girl she was in a Love Life Triangle with Leo.
Yeah.
If she was acting like that, it wouldn't be perceived the same way. So I think, look, y'all see my auntie arms. I think Hannah being big back also played a part in it too. Like, I think there's layers, but I don't really have an opinion on Hannah. Like I said, she's just the French popular girl, and next. Is that the mean girl in me?
So I like Hannah. I see I can't come up because I love Hannah. Please come up because I don't want to be by myself.
Please come up and advocate for Hannah.
No, it's not an
I
advocate.
would love to see it.
Hannah, here's what I think. And like y'all can steer me on the right path. For us to engage in weaponized incompetence as a topic, repeatedly, and recognize that Nick is incompetent in pretty much every way, and that he uses that to get people to do things for him, right? He's still a child in most of our conception because of how he operates in the world. For the conversation about Hannah to be like, oh, you need to speak better to him, seems odd when he's legitimately doing the thing that we know men do in an effort to get women to do all the labor for them. When you're repeatedly telling someone to do something over and over and over again, and they don't do it, when they're behind the scenes talking about how ugly you are, how unattractive you are, they don't want to, you're a 5, talking all this mess and saying that they're doing this to be famous, and then she's dragging him on screen, like, she is mean, let me be very clear. But it doesn't seem like there is the kind of hate for him as there is for her. And she's just saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm going to leave you. I'm not going to get married to you because you're not doing what you need to do. And so that's why, then leave, don't verbally abuse someone. I wouldn't call what she did verbal abuse.
I honestly don't think women should ever speak nicely to men, but that's just my personal opinion. So there's that.
I'm with Demas and Steph Go. That's about Hannah. Oh, I didn't know she had the same opinion on that. All right, where do you want to go on this? Thank you, Puffin.
I'm here to ride the ride. So wherever you would like to go, Mango King, we'll go.
Hey, Kilo.
Hello.
How are you? Wait, what is your opinion thus far before we get we move forward?
What'd you say?
What was your opinion?
I'm biased towards girls like Hannah because I had friends like her growing up, and it was a whole kiki for me. So I'm really biased because the thing is with Hannah, she wants a particular man, and she's willing to mold you into the man she needs you to be by all means necessary. And
I don't think if I agree with you there, and I'm cutting you off, if I agree with you there, I would not like her. If that's the assessment, I would not like her.
So I feel like there's a lot of women like her who do that, and I think that's why people kind of, the reason why I feel like people dislike her is because they see themselves in her a little bit, and that they've all had a man who they knew wasn't shit. Sorry, who they knew wasn't going to be anything, and they tried and they tried and they tried to force him to be the man that they wanted him to be. Meanwhile, also disliking him as a person. Like, I've seen that, and I think women see themselves in her doing that, and that's why they have this like immediate like disgust for Hannah. That's why I feel people don't like her.
There's a part of me that feels like there is an acceptance of like women going through turmoil and being loved publicly because of the hardship that they go through. And because Hannah refused to be the long-suffering girlfriend and speak up, it feels like there is a rejection of her because of that. And like for like women who are like, oh, let me just do it. I'll show up, I'll clean, I'll take out the trash. I will do the work that you are supposed to do and you said you were going to do, but you don't do. I'll do it. Right? Because I do actually agree that she's mean. I do actually like mean women. And
Same.
not, I like
I
when
like
people
me.
are
I don't
upfront.
like people who suffer in silence, and she's not that
Yeah.
girl. She's
Yeah.
not that girl.
But, and I cannot accept people critiquing her for being mean, but in relation to Nick, I have a problem. In relation to Nick, it feels like we all understand that Nick is trash, but Hannah should have spoken better to him. No, you called this woman a 5 behind her back. You said she was a grenade. You didn't like her. You said you didn't care for her. You trash talk her to the people on the show, and then you expected her to care for you, love you, and treat you well. No, drag him fully. All right, we can close the chapter on Hannah
Wait a
and go
second.
to Marissa. Go ahead.
So even if she didn't know all that was happening, like let's say she had no idea that was happening, and she was acting the way she was acting, I think people are really being way too hard on her because Nick is a really manipulative person. A lot of men do that thing where they rely on the woman to do everything, so they don't have to do it right. He doesn't have to hit the mark 100% of the time because Hannah will. Hannah will pay the bills, so I don't have to bring in the money. Hannah will get up and clean the house, so I don't have to. Hannah will. She's gonna make me into a man. And people are like, not people. Coco was like, she should have kept that in the bag when she said, "I'm gonna make you a boy into a man." I don't know if you remember Coco, but he also said the same exact phrase back to her. Like, yeah, you made me from a boy into a man. Like what? Like he was on the same type of time. Like I don't understand. Like you said, I feel like it's like people are just like, oh, it's a given, he's horrible. But like, no, she's responding to him.
Yeah. Marissa was my favorite until she had a lot of energy for Nick. Because one thing I don't respect this at all. I don't respect when a woman has all that energy for someone else's man but don't have it for their own. It is wild to me that you can drag someone else's man, you can have that energy, you can stand up, you can be firm, but when your trash man is up there doing absolutely nothing, giving nothing, cut off his 3 dreads, finally, looking like I don't actually know what event he thought he was going to, but it was definitely not a reunion, looking a mess. You go sit up there unable to articulate your own thoughts as it relates to your own man, but you have all that energy, which I like that you had energy, but you have energy for someone else's man? No, absolutely, sit down. I agree with her, but sit down. You need to drag your dusty man too. Ramses should have been dragged, and the fact that you up there defending your man while dragging someone else's is wild to me.
Well, that's because she's not going to forgive Nick, but she's going to forgive her man.
Yeah, I don't like that. I hate when people do that. Like, don't butt into other people's business if you can't stand up on your own 2 feet. I don't like that.
She's still trying to get that man back.
She gonna forgive her man. Your man ain't ish, but my man, he will come back to me. I'm gonna take him back.
Like, she literally came out and confessed that she asked him to be in a relationship after he publicly humiliated her, like with a thong on. Like, ain't nobody got time to sit there. This Ramsey.
I hate Jay coming up there with you.
To be fair, let's back up off Ramses because I have a video. I'm working on a video. I feel like Ramses' situation because like everyone thinks that the Nigerian guy is the bad guy because he cheated, and I agree. Him.
Oh
The
God.
everyone thinks this Nigerian guy is the bad guy, and I agree. I agree. Cheating is not a mistake. He's degenerate. He looked oily. He just looked. Actually, let's skip him. Let's skip him. I got no
What did
words
you
for
What
him.
did you think of Monica? What were your thoughts on Monica?
I think I like Monica. I like Monica. I like Monica. I think Monica understands more than she lets on, and I like the way that she engages. I think she was very hurt by him, but the fact that you had a bum in your home providing for him most of the season is wild. Like the man you are taking care of, the man you're providing for, is out there cheating.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like I like how she eventually stood up and was like, run me my money back. You know what I mean? She was like, you know what? Joke's on me. Run me my money.
There shouldn't be any money to run back. What do you mean? How you providing for a man, your African king, while your African king out there cheating on you?
I'm glad she stood up, but like I originally I just liked her because I was like you said, like, you're letting this man stay in your house, you're paying for him. Why is there money being exchanged at all? Like, what is happening? Like, where are these and I guess because women like Monica, when you talk to them, they have all these standards typically, but as soon as they get into these situations, it's like, where are those standards? Like, how did you let this man move in? Like, how?
No, I agree with you. Here, Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, whatever their name is, them two people, they need to be fired. They need to be fired, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't know, and I don't usually call for people to be fired from their job, but they can be the main host and then get someone else to do the reunion. Because the fact that these Tweedledee and Tweedledum sat up there, played in our face, and literally got no pushback makes absolutely no sense to me. The fact that it feels like they wanted to give everyone an opportunity to talk, right? And give them the same amount of time, except Hannah. Hannah, they had all the smoke. Vanessa Lachey, whatever her name is, had all the smoke for Hannah. But Tyler, whatever you say his name, he sat up there with him dumb self, didn't even have to speak because Ashley jumped in front of a moving train to say, I know everything about him. We already knew. I was aware of it when he did it. And so we are good. And no, everyone was like, oh, I was just so in love. I'm so happy for you. No, she dumb, he dumber. The fact is, reverse that. Dumb and Dumber is the reverse. Because the fact that you are going to go marry a man, defend this man for a year, come online talking about how you are all good and he's a good man without a job, mind you. There's no legitimate proof of employment that I could find, right? So now he's a reality star. That's his job. The fact is, she knew full well what she was getting into. She knows full well what she got into. The fact is, when this man said, oh, I had a friend who wanted me to donate to them so that they can have children, that it didn't even occur to her. That it didn't even occur to her at all to engage with the actual friend is weird. It will forever be weird to me. So I agree with her. I believe her. She knew exactly what she was doing. She understood all of it, but she got a husband, and that's all that matters.
Part of me thinks that, part of me is like, yeah, she knew. And then part of me is like, well, I would come out and say that too, because I don't want to look like a dummy who took this man back in front of everybody who had all these lies. Of course I knew. Yeah, of course. Like, part of me thinks she just is pretending like she knew so she don't look stupid.
Well, that's stupid.
Well,
I think this theme of like lying as like a mechanism to control the narrative, when you could just like
not be with a dusty,
tell the truth. I don't understand it.
Not only do I not understand it, I cannot appreciate or engage meaningfully with someone. And an idea around like, I am just going to bite my teeth and bear it and go through with this. Like, that don't make no sense. Like, Ashley's decision and the fact that she steps in front of all this hate, and there's no way to disentangle her from him to support her, right? Like, she is now in that mess with him, and that's a wild decision to make. She has strong.
And I'm telling
anything for a man, right?
And the child support
anything
police
for a
coming right for her little
husband.
account. As soon as she put her name on the dotted line, the child support going to hit her little account.
Alex and Tim. Now, here's the thing. I hate when men use therapy speak. It has become one of the most annoying things to me. What do you mean, my truth? He kept saying, let me speak my truth. There is no your truth. Either she was asleep for the entire day or for an hour. Either she physically assaulted you or she didn't. Like, I don't understand why he's up there. And it's so weird because, like, the thing that I feel about Ramses, I feel about him. I ain't going to say what that is. How you doing? I ain't going to do it. But
I'll say it. Can I say it? Because I'll let you finish.
You know, you can give. Go ahead. Say what you want. I've been talking a lot.
Nah, him and Ramsey was at the top of my list for who was going to be the most sassy and zesty at the reunion, and they did not disappoint. I actually almost forgot about Ramses, and I was so focused on motherfucking Tim that I almost forgot about Two Dreads. But like, the way he needs to go sit on the couch with that lady, because there's something very much something going on with him, and the only way he would have a successful relationship is if he finds a woman that's just going to say yes to him. And that's the extent of her conversation.
Coco, I thought you were going to say the only way he would ever find a successful relationship is with another man.
I mean, but he's still in the closet, so, you know, it's beard season.
I hate that this man flew under the radar for me. I hate that. Here's the thing about me. Once a cheater, always a cheater in my mind.
He really slipped under the radar for sure. He really did. Yeah.
He showed his true colors at the reunion. And then retrospectively, I clocked him. Thankfully, I never forgave him after that text message. You don't sit there and lie and say, oh, I thought me sending a message is me liking the comment. You a liar. You a liar. You a disgusting liar. You're a useless, weak, ain't nothing, a B word. You are a liar. And this is the good man. And that's why I saved him for last from my perspective. This is the good man. This is what people claim to be good. He tricked this woman, in my opinion, bamboozled her all through the series, talking about how he's going to move for her. One of the most important things to this woman was that she moved to be closer to her family in California, I believe, San Diego, San Fran, I don't remember, somewhere, San something. She wanted to go back to California. She said it in the pods, he agreed. She said it when they met, he agreed. She flew him out to meet their family, he agreed. Before the wedding, she reaffirmed what she wanted to do, and he agreed that he would do it. And then they came back to the reunion, and they're planning to move to DC, an hour away from his family, because he didn't think that moving is right for him right now. That's not even the issue that I have. I only started thinking about all of this when the men were talking and Nick's tea was being clocked? I don't know. Teas was being spilled. Nick was being outed for being the degenerate creep that he was. And this man is going to sit there talking about, can we just move on? Can we just let it go? This is petty. This is irrelevant. I heard him. The camera might not have been on him, but I heard him when he said it. And they sat there. All of the men sat around completely ignoring the fact that they all were aware of the fact that Nick was a trash, disgusting human being, and Hannah is being dragged online, and none of them would actually open their mouth to point out the fact that Nick is actually trash and was trash to Hannah and spoke trash about Hannah before Hannah was being rude to him. Apparently, after Hannah and Nick met, Nick went back and said she was only a 5 and he wasn't attracted to her and called her a grenade.
It's because I don't think any of them thought that his behavior was wrong.
Which makes you not a good guy.
Agreed. I honestly, I truly believe that these men, when they see another man acting horrible, they don't denigrate him in front of other people because they're like, well, I might step into that role one day and I wouldn't want to be treated like that. So I'm gonna just be quiet in case my stuff come up, or in case you want to come at me like that. I'll just be silent about it. Someone said Hannah deserved it. Y'all, not too much on Hannah. Not too much.
The thing is, even if you believe Hannah deserved it, if you don't like her, if you hate her, it's not in defense of her. I'm just talking about, I'm using her and Nick to point out how this idiot right here exposed himself. Like the mask completely slipped for me to realize that he's a part of the boys club that will protect the degenerate men. Like you can hate Hannah. I don't care nothing about Hannah now. We have already passed Hannah talking point. We're at the point where Nick is trash also. And this man is trying to hide the fact that Nick is trash by trying to move the conversation forward and ending it when it has to do with Nick being exposed. He is trash. Not only is he trash, she was giving her timeline for pregnancy. And he's going to talk about, oh, we can negotiate. If you're a woman making a man tell you when you need to put your body through trauma to produce life, it's wild to me. The idea that you're going to sit there, because we need to compromise on where we're going to live. She want to go to California. You want to stay in the DMV area. The compromise was moving to DC. That don't sound like a compromise to me. She wants to wait 5 years to have a child, and you're talking about compromise 2 weeks. No, don't compromise with your body for nobody. Like, that don't make sense.
It really
compromise and let him carry the child. Sorry.
It's a lot more desperate than I think people are really, like, they realize. Like, the way she was trying to bend herself backwards and delude herself into thinking Garrett was a good man and making all of these concessions for him. It's like you must be desperate because Garrett is not a good looking man. He's not really bringing anything extra to the table. I don't feel like he's, upgrading her life in some amazing way that you would need to make these compromises. But she compromises every single time for Garrett. Every single time. And I can only think that you might be a little bit desperate because remember, he literally lied to her face, lied in front of other people, and then somehow she made the lie okay so that they can meet her parents the next day.
Yeah, she made the lie okay. I'm glad you said that. I am glad you said that because she said, and she compromised on this too. She said, "I need to be 200%." Secure for you to meet my family. Hey, Monique, how are you? I need to be 200% sure before you meet my family. The day before you bring him to meet your family, there is a text, a lie about him and his ex-girlfriend. And you are like, I am not 200%. But then you still bring him to meet your family. Like, stop going back on these standards. Why do people have standards they don't follow? That don't even make sense.
They're desperate. She was definitely desperate because he lied to your face, and it wasn't about anything small or little. He was trying to get back with his ex-girlfriend, and there's nothing anyone can do to convince me otherwise.
Here's the thing: Hannah did the same thing. Hannah did not do the same thing. Hannah literally is the only woman. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Hannah the only one who rejected the man? Let's go through.
I wonder which incident she's talking about that makes Hannah the same.
Hannah was trash talking, dragging this man. Hannah was not willing to compromise on anything. Hannah knew what she wanted, and she was gonna get it, and she rejected him. This one cheated, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, Mr. Mr. Nigerian over here literally said it to her that he does not leave people, he cheats on them. In the pod, mind you, in the pod, she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry you cheated. That must have been hard for you." I'm sure it was hard for her. I'm sure it was hard for him.
Yeah, when I first saw her, I didn't like her because I was like, what conversation are we having? If you're looking for a prospective partner to marry and they tell you that every party they've been with, they cheated, I don't even know why there would be a second conversation.
Yeah, this man checks out of the relationship. Someone was like, Monica rejected Steve. Monica did not reject Steven. Monica was providing for Steven. Steven rejected Monica by cheating.
Correct. I was about to say, if Steven had kept his stuff under wraps, she would have still been paying for him, still paying for his lifestyle all the way to the altar. She would have paid for
no.
She was going to be his sugar mama.
Correct.
And even after she provided for him, this man still went out and cheated on him. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Taylor bent backwards. The thing is, they're not even on the same level. You know what? Let me leave that alone. Anyway,
just not agreed. Agreed.
This was the first. She's the worst.
This is
in terms of picking. She's the worst in terms of picking because this was a neon sign with a red flag. Because there's no way for you to miss this.
This is Black love, Themis.
She's way too pretty for all that.
These two here,
I want to say something, but like, I don't actually dislike Marissa's emotional moment. And I don't like that people are mad at her. Like, why are you crying over a man? Like, most of these women are on the floor at home crying for a man. The difference is she's on TV. So I don't like the conversation about how weak and desperate she is. All of them people. There is zero of these women besides Hannah that wasn't super desperate. And even Hannah was desperate. Hannah just had someone she could walk all over.
Agreed. She was gonna make him fit. She was gonna make that square peg into that.
Leave Marissa alone. Leave Marissa. Like, the fact that people are so mad at her for crying is weird when, like, I literally got choked up watching her. Like, I felt the pain she felt because this man, I'm going to release my video. This video, like, if I can get it edited quickly and recorded quickly, I will provide it as soon as I can because I need to explain to you why Ramses is trash.
He's a very
feminist, that I am a progressive, anti-imperialist nonsense that these men have learned to speak to get the women in their life to provide for them. That I am going to be against patriarchy, but I'm going to definitely uphold it when it benefits me. Those kind of people are disgusting. You get the double shift. You get the feminist term, that's the second shift. And that's what you're going to be doing with this man. You're going to provide and you're going to submit.
I'll say this.
He's gonna be down the strip club with his homies, putting dollar bills in a man's G-string too.
I don't think people understand how emotionally disturbing and emotionally shocking it is to be love bombed. Right? Like, I love a good love bomb because I deserve it. You know, I'm that.
No.
That's it. I'm amazing. However, when someone like pours all this love into you and we're going to be together forever, holding hands, meeting your parents, you're snuggling up with each other every night. Like, you're doing all of this, I'm in love with you, clearly in love with you stuff. And then they hit that switch. That shocks the other person because they have no idea what happened.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. I think that's why love bombing is so dangerous because I didn't believe, I said this publicly, like, where I don't believe in love bomb for myself because, like, oh, love bomb me all you want, just know you're gonna have to continue, and if you stop, we're done. Yeah. There's no oh my God, I'm gonna try to fight for it to get it, but no, absolutely not. So I want to talk to Ramses' ex-wife. You don't. Ramses is the type of man that when the women and him are done, the women feel like they did something wrong.
Yeah, they
It
feel
is
like
I don't think it is possible to find an ex that will talk trash about him besides Marissa because it was caught on tape. And even then, she defended him. Right?
Mhm.
She kept defending him until we yelled outward on social media, girl, stop. And she finally woke up at the mom woke up.
yeah.
But I'm building a video. I'm creating a video.
Like
Like,
I really think people underestimate love bombing. I really like that. You literally have you're in love with this person. This person is like all on you. You're holding hands. Y'all cooking together. We're gonna be in this together forever. Like they're building this emotional bond with you, and they break it off. They just cut the bond off. That is so shocking.
Out of nowhere. Out
Yeah,
of nowhere.
it's really disturbing. I felt her cry because I just know how shocked her system was. She could not wrap her mind around what happened. She couldn't.
yeah. Not only that, but like, you know how I know he's more toxic than we are even able to comprehend right now. When he was talking to Marissa's mother and talking about how he left the ex-wife for her benefit, he needed to take care of her and did this for her, and the woman clocked it and said, the mother clocked it and was like, no, y'all both decided or whatever, right? His interpretation of those events is probably how the ex-wife also interpret those events for the breakup. He was done with her and he needed to move on, and he made it sound like he was doing it for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He crafts like a character, and he creates the narrative, the environment, the atmosphere. He controls all of it. So when he walks away from you, which is always his intention, that was always his plan, you're leaving the way he wants you to feel.
Yeah, and he does not make affirmative claims and statements. He posits very straight, like his boundaries are very, very rigid, right? But he posits them to you as suggestion while making clear that you can cross them, and if you do, he's done. But that's your choice, right? He's not forcing you to do anything. He knew who you were before you got into the relationship, but in the relationship, the thing that you told him before, he's going to bring it up as a problem, even though he accepted them before, and then provide them as a kind of suggestion boundary that he's about to hang over your head with this relationship, or he's about to leave, even though he knew it before you get in. Why are y'all talking about military? Sorry. Actually, wait, I'm just let me just put this to the side because this video need to be done. I'm going to try to make sure to get it done as ASAP.
And this level of manipulation is what I talk about when I say you can't vet. Because if you didn't have the video cameras and stuff, you wouldn't know any of this was going on.
At least with the other men, when they are bad, and you can pinpoint it.
Mm-hmm.
He is very, like, there is no, even the whole point about the contraceptives, right? Like, what method should be used? She still thinks that he was being considerate of her and her body.
It's crazy.
She still think that.
I know. He's good.
He's not. It's this weak, disgusting, not direct, passive-aggressive approach to discourse where he does not want to own anything at all. He wants no responsibility, no accountability, nothing. He wants absolutely nothing. And it's easy to do because all you have to do is have these very specific ways that you want to live your life. And if you're attractive enough, you can just move on and you never have to do any kind of inner work or growth. You discard people who don't live up to these really high, inhumane standards that you have. You're never actually happy, and you just keep moving on, cowardly going through life, never facing yourself. It is actually disgusting. I hate him. Sorry, I don't hate anyone. I know the personality type, and it is disgusting.
And smooth. He's smooth. I'm telling you, without the camera, you could not have expected her to vet him without those cameras, because he really created it. Like he was the lover boy. He was the sweet guy. Like everything he said, every gesture was intentional. Everything he did and said was intentional.
The army thing the military thing seems like a legitimate concern until you realize he knew all about it before they got together. Like she told him that it's becoming a problem now in the relationship when it was very clear before you talk about you want to tuck her in the between the beat of your heart. You knew she was military. You knew this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said all of that, you got her, and then when you were with her, you're like, this military thing, it's a problem for me. And you had I was impoverished, I needed a way out, I didn't know what I was getting into. Him, you knew what you were getting into. With the empathy. Also, don't trust anyone who say they're empath. Like, ugh. Anyway, that's I feel like I've already given up all my opinion.
No, there's some more in the chamber. I know there's some more in there.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, any final thoughts here?
A final thought on Ashley. I find it interesting how, and this is a general statement, how people can take an experience and say this is bad, i.e., her father not really being there, her mother having 2 failed marriages with 2 failed partners. I don't know how she can sit there and empathize with a single mother and then go and actively participate in another woman being a single mother. So if she really knows everything, that must mean you participated in him abandoning his children. Because if you had that conversation on camera and that's when you became aware of them and that's when you knew everything, then you knew that prior to him coming into the pods, that he was those children's father, active parent, not volunteering, but legally their parent. So if you truly know everything, then you have to be one of the most diabolical people I have ever seen in my life. Because you constructed this for him to come to us with the bullshit and then actively aided in him not seeing his children for over a year, as you guys have this lovely lifestyle without cameras and without them creating memories and establishing traditions for y'all's kids. Diabolical.
I agree. So when you were speaking just now, I was like, it's still his fault. But you were right, I think. Like, I think you're so fundamentally right about like the woman who would sit by with the man and be okay and happy with a man that is literally away and not caring about his own children. Yeah, that is a
gives the woman, well, he doesn't treat my kids that way. He's an amazing father to our children.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Brian McKnight's current wife.
They compartmentalize the person. Like, oh, he's a bad person to you, but I get all the good parts. They try to, it's bad.
I think this is one of the times because I'm like, oh, the person doing the harm is the one wrong. But you have to have a disgusting mindset to sit there and have this man not take care of his children and be happy with him. I actually
not
agree
even that to participate and to aid and to come up with ideas for him to lie on camera about these children as y'all are putting up this front of being Christians who can't wait to start a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, now if she didn't know until the world knew, then maybe she's still processing. I don't know. But if I'm taking her for her word and she knew before they had the on-camera conversation and she knew everything, that tells me she actively aided in him being an absentee parent.
Yeah.
Before we even knew who they were.
Yeah. And honestly, that makes you kind of a bad person too. Sorry.
Yeah, agreed.
Kind of.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Same.
about her being dumb for like messing up her own life by attaching it to him. And I wasn't really thinking because I usually just stick to the person doing the harm. But she is actively engaging in perpetuating and helping the harm. She is the problem too. She is a problem too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in that vein, regarding those kids, she too is a problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
should not be removed from that kind of critique. And I
Yeah.
actually am annoyed at myself for not doing that critique.
And that's how it is for a lot of people who have like a spouse who's an actively terrible person and they watch them be terrible and then they just kind of excuse it because they're quote unquote nice to them. It's like, yeah, he's horrible, but now you excuse him, you protect him, you aid him. You're just as bad as he is. I mean, not just as bad, but like you're
And
part
it's
of the
also
problem.
like
You're
you
part
could
of the problem.
also choose to be with him and stand by him while holding him accountable.
Agreed.
Like,
Agreed.
yes, he lied to me. I didn't know these particular things until this time. And since then, we've had X, Y, and Z conversations.
And you can't keep these men accountable and keep them. That's why she won't.
Yep. That's wait, that's also the issue too. Like someone was like, oh, I think they love each other. She might love him. I don't know. I don't care nothing about that. He don't love her.
How you love someone that don't take care of their kids?
Yes. You can't tell me you know what love is when you have children you don't take care of. I don't care nothing what you gotta say.
Yeah. If you think of, and I'm just gonna talk Black people for a second. If you think a Black woman can hold a Black man accountable and keep him, it's not gonna happen. You have to just accept it or aid in it or ignore it. That's it. If you want to keep the man.
The fact that this man is out here fooling y'all, telling and you're having y'all saying that they are in love is wild to me. That y'all believe that is why.
They jumped out of a plane together. They're in love.
This man moved into this lesbian woman, well, bisexual woman's home, impregnated her, and then dipped. Like there is no way you're gonna convince me he love anyone. You're not gonna convince me this man love anyone.
And she wasn't a random woman. Weren't they like quote unquote best friends? Didn't she describe him as her best friend?
They both described each other as their best friend.
So it's not a random person, like a random hookup or anything. No, they were quote unquote best friends.
But how she explain the child support? How you gonna go off and start your family with your baby shower, but yet he got $30,000 in child support. He got due to 3 kids that you aided and abetted him not taking care of.
I do want to say that after watching, like I never watched these shows, but after watching it, the Discord, and I'm just looking at the different men and women who come on here. If I take it for face value, it's just super sad to me that this is the quality of men that women feel like they have to pick. Because I feel like how all the men acted, every single woman should have rejected every single man on the show.
Yeah, there was no good man on that show.
There was none. And so it's kind of sad to me that it's not the type of men we're just choosing. It's also the pool of men randomly selecting, and no matter the race or income, it just sucks that this is what you're getting and that women are not standing on business going, you know what? If you can't give me what I want, I don't want any of you.
That's why I like what Hannah did.
Hannah was like, "You sure?"
I wish Hannah was paired with. I said this. I have this in my outline. I think I wish Hannah was paired with Ramsey. That would have been. I wish Hannah was paired with Ramses.
I like when Hannah sat him on the couch and was listing all the horrible things about him.
Someone said it's self-selection. I actually don't believe that. All of these couple look like they were related. But yeah, no, that's not a production issue that I have.
And she was like, you ain't shit. You don't know how to do anything. You ain't a man. You can't cook. You can't talk.
Water, you can stay out the trash. You don't need,
Ramsey is talking about he gonna be a stay-at-home husband but can't cook. Had them tough noodles. It was his spaghettis, right? Like it was him. I'm remembering that correctly. She came home from school, like a 2 hour drive or an hour drive, however long it was, came home, he prepared like noodles or whatever, and she was like, "This is real al dente." And I was like, "Girl, that ain't cook."
Real al dente is crazy to say. You might as well just boil some water and make me some ramen because it's not even that serious. You did way too. No,
Anyway.
Overall, it's just sad to me. Honestly, everyone's time was wasted, but I feel like women really have to, the standards have to be tighter, has to be tighter than this. Like, these men should not even be making it past the first conversation.
They shouldn't. I feel bad. It's so bad for. I like that Marissa spoke up because, like, the way that I felt so sad for her, I am very happy that I realized she does have that self-assuredness to like speak up. That fire is there. She just don't want to use it against her own man. So I'm like, okay, girl, got it. I don't know how much of this I want to watch because this woman confused.
Oh,
this
no.
woman is not many things but
Oh no.
I'm just gonna say my previous. I feel like she's on something, but that's just my speculation. I do not have any evidence, but watching this to
Do you think I should just not watch this? Like, we can end the stream because, like, I watched part of it and like she's talking about really, really, really bad things that happen.
It is very, very heavy. You would probably need like a perpetual trigger warning.
Yeah.
Y'all scaring me. I haven't watched this. Y'all scaring me.
I don't know.
I watched it and like her childhood, her life, her uncles, the people in her life, they were just trash. And I think she developed, well, let me summarize it, what I think. I think she developed a callous to toxic men behavior. Trigger warning. I think even the framing of her man beating her, she framed it as, it's not just him beating me, we were fighting. And I looked at her man.
One thing I caught was that before she got off into that whole diatribe of the abusive relationship that she's in with her husband, she said that she appreciates her children because they were all born and conceived in love. But then she went on to say when she was pregnant with her first child, he had an outside baby and he was like beating on her. And I'm just like,
they were conceived in her love, not his. No, this is funny. But that is nasty work. Your man had a whole child talking about, at least my kids were born in love. And so was the mistress. The mistress child was also born in love. If love is what creates children, all of them kids were born in love.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and clock out for me, honey.
I hate when people try to flex the dust in marriages. Like, I just don't like it. Like, keep your marriage to yourself, girl. Also, the man that you are so deeply in love with is fighting you. Talking about, I understand why he fought me because, like, he was successful, then I became successful, and then he became my manager and followed me around, or whatever, not manager, followed me around. And so I can understand the male ego not being like understanding of the woman being successful and him not. Why?
Sounds like patriarchy to me.
So like, she's not a, like, this is not a narrator, right? This is not the narrative voice that you trust.
She doesn't sound like a mentally healthy person.
I don't know that, and I won't go that far, but what I will say is I think her pain tolerance is high. Her tolerance for abuse is really high. And I think that she thinks other women should have the same level of tolerance for abuse that she has. And she does not trust women or fight for women or care for women who does not have the same level of tolerance she has for abuse. And I'm very happy that her standard is not the standard for abuse. Lock all of the men up, including her husband.
I did find it very interesting that when they get into the Dawn portion, she doesn't realize she's not negating anything that Dawn said occurred.
She literally said,
actually
"Diddy walk out
confirming.
naked, walk out naked." And when he came over to his house, and I was like, "Well, there's a harassment claim right there."
But for
You
her,
never
it wasn't
said it was-
harassment. For her, it was like, oh my God, he's a genius.
Yep, that's a harassment claim right there. Talking about no one made me do anything that I didn't want to do. Sounds like you wanted to do it. Other people didn't. I never see him physically restraining them. Restraint does not actually have to be physical. It could actually be them holding finances, career, and other things over a people's head. So I don't know what she's talking about. She provided nothing in this outside of a deep need for help. That is all I saw.
Her perception is so warped that it's hard. You're not going to be able to get something cohesive out of this because her perception is just so different from the reality of everyone else around her, is what it sounds like. Yeah.
The mother that allowed, and there is an allowed here trigger warning that allowed her uncles and the males in the family to our children, mind you.
Yeah.
She sent her children to them to that person.
Yeah, the cycle continues, sounds like.
There is a girl that they found being, by the older men in the family, and they took the girl after it was done. They don't report this to the police. They don't lock him up. They don't kick him out. They don't do like mob justice. They took the girl and started praying around the girl. These are her words.
That's sad. That's really, really sad. Because
Yeah,
I also wonder the thought process of a child who goes through something traumatic, and when you go to your parents, they start praying. Like how you link religion, God, and prayer to the traumatic event that you're going through and what that means to you. Like what religion becomes for that person.
Right? Because like even they reprimand the girls for being fast. Like it's just when she was talking, I was like, I've heard these stories before. And it's just like always these men always doing these things to these children, and then the women like shame the children and pray for the children and then ask God to change the man's heart, and that's it. What?
And they wonder why a lot of these younger kids are no longer religious. Because you've associated certain things with certain trauma with religion, and so it makes sense that people would shy away from their trauma and therefore whatever religion you attach to it.
When I was in undergrad, I was an RA, resident assistant. Yeah, RA, resident assistant. And the amount of sexual assault and trauma from men when they were children by men in their family, I did not realize that was happening. And then it's doubly the case for the women. And so I didn't realize until I was an RA how many people were essayed and R'd as children. Like I did not know that. And like hearing her story, it just feels like way more than even like the way that I thought about it initially. Like beyond just like, oh, this is just in these like wealthy neighborhood and they're covering up because they don't want people to know about what's happening in their families. No, it's also happening in the ghettos. It's happening everywhere. Like everyone is like doing this. So it's like, oh, okay, got it. And we just gonna pretend these men are good And like,
and to think there was no therapy option. So what were they offering these kids that were traumatized? Religion.
yeah, yeah. And these women should be locked up too. Let me be very clear.
Yeah.
Very, very clear. That is my opinion. I think all of them trash. So
yeah,
I think her story is very important on its own, and I wish her healing, and I hope that she gets the help that she so desperately need, even if she don't know she need it. Because no one should walk around with that much of a callous. And once you start saying, "Oh, my husband and I are in love, and he's cheating," and he's beating me, but like I'm fighting back, and so we fight. It's not abuse. I think something is definitely wrong.
and
Yeah,
I'm
something
terrified.
definitely wrong.
I'm terrified for her. And these women usually have a lot of children, and I'm terrified for this mindset that she's passing down to her, the girls, and then the boys. Because what are the boys seeing? What are they learning from a mom who thinks like this and introduces them to a family who does the things that they do?
Yeah, she said she saw the tape with Cassie on it, and she doesn't make a statement, a judgment about the tape at all. She quickly goes into, yeah, I know Cassie, she's the type that loves to give lap dance to people.
Yeah.
All right, girl.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad. I hate that for her and her kids and her family. It just sucks because until someone comes in and literally breaks it apart, until someone just literally leaves, they're just stuck in it. That's it.
Yeah, I want all them people locked up too. Like, it's just like really weird to me that like, and I understand how trauma creates this mentality. I do. I actually really do get it. It's just really bad.
Yeah.
And
And
she's not the only one. I feel like a lot of women see things this way, where it's like, oh, she just wanted money. And Kalina was very fixated on what she perceived Cassie as having. She kept saying she got the house, she got these beautiful apartment with glass, and she got all this money. And if I had that money, I would this and I would that. She is being abused and exploited. What part of that
the
are
men
you
were
not
saying that
getting?
too. A lot of people were saying that. Oh, well, that's what happens when you're with a rich person, as if the price of being next to someone with money is abuse.
Right?
That's fine. Like well, you shouldn't have been in that lifestyle, or you shouldn't have been with those people, or he gave you a lot of money. You had the cars and you had the house. I'm like, why are you saying that as if like I'm supposed to be like, yeah, I want to be next to a rich person, therefore I'm allowing you to abuse me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I think we're not gonna play it. That was the summary of all of it. Apparently she's a gifted singer too, so that's what she wanted the world to know. Sound like Sierra to me, but that's neither here. All right, let's go in the after show. Let's go to final. She sings just like Cassie. Final thoughts. What?
You're shady.
It's not shady. If Cassie can be a singer, she too can be a singer.
we all can. We all can be.
Yeah, right? So final
I'll
thoughts. How
just
are you?
say, Love is Blind stressed me out.
It did me too. I've never been that into a season and so disappointed with the what do you call the thing where they come back and do the talk?
The reunion.
Reunion.
It
Yeah.
was a waste of time.
Nick Lachey and what's their name disappointed me 5 times when I watched it once.
I like my hosts to be really messy. Like I like my hosts to really get in. I need you to really get to the meat of it. I want to know about the lies I didn't tell. I need everything. I like a really messy host.
I think maybe because they don't care, because it doesn't feel like Nick Lachey and whatever her name, Vanessa, care. Like it feels like they're just checking in and checking out. No, I need someone who cares and is invested and like pull up tea and receipts and like.
Right. I want
also-
someone messy. They wanted to pay bills. I need someone who's messy.
Yeah. So I didn't
They
like
need to at
that.
least ask what the audience want to ask. Like they just
Right. Questions from the audience. Something like there was no mess at all. Themis, you see your man got famous again. He going viral. What's
Cool.
his remember it was me, you and DJ, we were watching this guy and it was a podcast, and at the end he got into a fight with his cousin in the back. He was wearing
Oh.
red and everybody
The one that called me talking about how I need to come on his show.
Correct. We need to review that interview. I don't know. I don't think you have. I don't think you already have yet.
Then you send it to me.
Where he's like, yeah, a high value man is this, and the woman is like asking him why he thinks he's a high value man. She's dragging him. She's dragging.
Oh,
You know what
I
I'm talking
didn't
about,
see
Coco?
that full clip. I know what you're talking about. I didn't see the full clip.
Coco, where's that woman from? Because Themis also knows her. She's like one of the podcast. Remember, there was a guy who was talking. It was two guys and a girl, and the guy was like, "Why did you tell your girlfriend to unfriend me on Instagram?" And
yeah.
That woman, she was arguing with that guy. If that makes sense.
Oh wait, really?
Yes.
I might actually have to watch it. So I've been trying to reconnect my switch back to my computer. Have only failed. If I can do it tomorrow after my video, I'll come live and watch it together. If I can connect, because I've been trying desperately to do this. But I'm very fascinated by that. Send it to me directly.
Okay, I'll go find it. It's good. Someone said, "Show the clip. I'm hungry for more."
So I think this is where I don't have it. I don't have the clip. And I don't know none of them people's name. All I know is that man reached out to me talking about, oh, we can debate. I'm like, okay, come on the channel. He was like, I have 200 and something thousand subscribers. Does it make sense for me to come on yours? Girl, I don't care nothing about what you gotta say. I said what I said, and I'm walking away from this negotiation right now. Like, I don't care nothing about you and your dusty channel.
Said, well, I can have that by Friday too. All I gotta do is cut the check, so calm down.
Right? Like, I can just order new subscribers on online. Like, does it make sense? Like, these people are so weird. Like, he goes, let's be logical.
You got
I'm gonna
200,000
end the
followers.
conversation right now.
But only 200 people are watching your videos. Come on.
Let's be logical. Let's not. Let's not be logical in my inbox. Like go logic somewhere else. Right here.
Let's be logical. Crazy.
It's like, do you think I want to build my channel based on your dusty audience? Think about that. No, I don't want none of them over here. So why would I be on your channel because you have more subscribers? No, goodbye.
Ego is huge. It's huge.
Like I think I randomly think about let's be logical as a statement and laugh.
I need a t-shirt. There's so many t-shirts we need. Let's be logical.
Mm-hmm. We need Discord merch.
Period. On that note, thank you both for being here with me. I might come on tomorrow night. I said I'm not gonna go out until after my birthday. And so at the end of the year, I might go out again, but I'm trying to stay in. Like, I'm literally trying to stay in and not go dip it and do it. So I might go live tomorrow night.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Period. I'm also like alcohol. I mean, I'm gonna let y'all know if I break
he
it.
Gonna be out. He gonna be out thotting and bopping next weekend.
No. So I found out that my writing, like when I reread I don't know what's happening at night. After like 1 o'clock, I just in a daze, and it's best to write at that time for me. So I've been doing that which means I can't do anything. And I go to bed and I sleep in on the weekends now, but I write a lot. So I've been trying that and I've been liking the results. I don't know. So I haven't been going out. I've been sacrificing my life for the art.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you, honey.
Good.
You're shiny.
Oh, thank you, Kilo. I appreciate the support. I do it for you, Kilo. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you both again. I'm gonna order food. Apparently we're still watching Agatha, so I'm gonna watch the new Agatha that came out because I didn't watch it. And I will not do any work until later tonight. I'll do some writing. And hopefully I'll finish my thing tonight
Later
so I can
tonight.
video.
It is 10 o'clock.
Huh?
I said later tonight. It is 10 o'clock.
I told you I do my writing at night, so I'm gonna finish a script that I'm doing for
Okay.
that guy, Ramses.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having us. We love the mess.
Thank you all. Bye. Not me landing on blackmail.
Girl. Please.
A period. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.